We're live. I'm going to try to do this as much as
For
possible.
money, unless I'm going to enjoy doing it. If I didn't enjoy a certain project or development or whatever, whether it's football or whether it's building or whatever it is, I won't do it. I just won't do it. I won't do anything for money, for purely money.
But money and Donald Trump have never been strangers. The family organization he now runs reportedly has more than $1 billion in assets. Family and friends say Donald was brash and willful as a teenager, so his father sent him to the New York Military Academy for high school. Fred, his father, built his empire in the outer boroughs. He still manages the 25,000 units of housing he's constructed since 1923. Back in the summer of '82, Father Fred came to Manhattan for the topping-off ceremony of his son's Trump Tower. Being his father's son has helped supply Donald with friends in high places.
As a matter of fact, we represented his dad. His dad, Fred Trump, was a builder years ago, and my law firm represented him. I know Donald. He's exciting. He's interested. He has experience. He pays his taxes.
If you look at the whole person and his work product, you have to say that Donald Trump is an asset to the city of New York, and I like him personally. I think that someday he may very well be known as the master builder.
Donald Trump would probably say he's already proven himself a master builder. He feels the Grand Hyatt Hotel proved him a man of vision. In 1975, this place was the closed-up Commodore Hotel. Today, the Grand Hyatt's 1,500 rooms command top dollar. 1,600 people work there. And as part of the deal, Trump restored the exterior of Grand Central Terminal. In 1979, Donald convinced the city and state to pay him $25 million for the Penn Central rail yards at West 30th Street. Critics say it was a terrible place to build a new convention center. No transportation, no parking. But Trump says the most awful thing about the place is the state and the city wouldn't let him build it. He says that's why the center will be open 2 years behind schedule with cost overruns of at least $125 million.
I get very frustrated when I see what happened to the convention hall and the kind of cost overruns and everything else that are now projected for the convention center. It should have been built. It should have been open right now.
Trump is building the biggest hotel casino in all of Atlantic City. Harrah's at Trump Plaza is set to open in May. There's a Trump Plaza in New York City, too, a 40-story, $50 million co-op apartment house going up on 3rd Avenue. Trump's not saying what he wants to do with this place. No tinned-up tenement, this 100-unit apartment house on Central Park South at 6th Avenue will be torn down as soon as Donald can get all the tenants out. Trump says he has millionaires there living in rent-controlled flats. When Donald offered to put some of the city's homeless people in vacant apartments there, the city turned him down.
You walk down the streets today and you see people freezing. And I said, put them in those apartments.
Can you blame people for looking a little askance at that and saying, well, isn't it going to be quite unpleasant for these millionaires who live in this building? Isn't that part of what's in the back of your mind?
I don't blame them. I don't blame them. I must tell you, and it's not in the back of my mind. All I can say is that we have in Midtown Manhattan possibly the only 20 vacant apartments in all of Midtown Manhattan. And they're being heated, and there's hot water. And I say, let the people stay in there until we get the entire possession.
No project pleases Donald Trump more than the 68-story Trump Tower he built atop Bonwit Tellers and Tiffany's.
I always like going first class. Trump Tower is the ultimate in first class, and that's why it's been successful.
First class is an understatement when it comes to the triplex apartment Donald, his wife, and 3 children will occupy atop the Trump Tower. There are 3 other triplexes. The one with the swimming pool in it sold for more than $12 million and sports monthly carrying charges of $5,000, utilities not included. In all, the 263 apartments in Trump Tower will bring in $270 million. 90% of them are already sold. Donald Trump likes to call his tower the world's most talked about address. Opulent is one of many adjectives that could be used to describe the 6-story atrium where shops are paying monthly rents of up to $400 per square foot. In all, Trump expects the commercial portion of the tower to generate $28 million a year in rents. So why does Donald Trump continue to fight the city in court, demanding tens of millions of dollars in tax abatements under a statute critics call welfare for the wealthy?
We wouldn't have built housing if we didn't think we were going to get the tax abatement. When that's denied to me, but all of these other people, including in Aristotle and Estes, they get it. I really do it out of a sense of fairness. It was unfair.
Most people wouldn't even dream of doing the things that you do on a day-to-day basis. So what are your dreams?
I just really want to continue to do a good job.
Bob O'Brien, Channel 5 News.
In 1987, Donald Trump was asked if he was interested in being president of the United States. Here's what he had to say back then.
On the Republican side, there's speculation that developer Donald Trump may throw his hat into the ring. His name is already well known to millions of Americans, thanks to the Trump Tower and other real estate holdings. The speculation was fueled by ads that Trump took in 3 newspapers today. Christopher Jones has that story.
To this morning's readers of the New York Times, the Washington Post, and the Boston Globe, Donald Trump's full-page open letter to the American people may have looked like a rich man speaking out on American foreign policy.
Why'd you write the letter?
Because I'm frustrated at looking and seeing the stupidity of what's going on in this country with respect to essentially our foreign policy.
Fair enough, but some ask, would Donald Trump pay $95,000 to complain about foreign policy, or is this his way of saying he's running for president?
Oh my
He adds
God!
come at a time when a draft Trump movement is building steam in
1987?
New Hampshire. So we asked him.
Are you running for president?
Absolutely not. I'm not running. I have no
Who wants
intention
to
of
pay
running.
that to live
I'm
where
greatly
the streets are
honored that
toilet?
this New Hampshire group sees fit to choose me as opposed to others, because it's a very credible group. Everybody's been trying to get their support, and I'm very honored. And anybody would.
We may have to wait to see how most of the nation takes to Donald Trump, but at least one New Yorker has already made up his mind.
I find those ads ridiculous. He spent $100,000 for self-advertisements. Who's really interested in his foreign policy? Anybody? Maybe Mrs. Trump.
Ed Koch has been a disaster as a mayor. You know it, I know it, everybody knows it.
I want to make it very clear. I'm very biased. I don't like him.
Ed Koch
Of course you
is
don't like
a
him. He's
lousy
calling
mayor.
you out.
I believe he'll go down as probably in history the worst mayor in the history of the city of New York. And, you know, when I say that, it's hard for him to say, I really like Donald Trump.
So right now, ask Donald Trump if he wants to be president of the United States, and he will tell you no. But if a wave of support develops for him in New Hampshire, don't look for Donald Trump to get out of the water. Christopher Jones, Fox News, Channel 5.
But in 1999, his political ambitions changed course, and Trump took the first step towards the presidency.
Guess what the top news story is? Donald Trump says he is ready to make his biggest deal ever. He wants to run for the presidency and has formed a committee to study his chances of winning the White House. He even wants a famous talk show hostess to be his running mate. Dick Oliver is at Trump Tower, where the Donald is hoping to go from the penthouse to the White House.
Donald.
Dick, what can you tell us?
That's right, Lynn, and we are joined by Hank Shankop, the political analyst, to take a closer look at the Trump presidency.
They're gonna put him in the back of
what
a
are your
fucking
thoughts?
van.
Why not? He's a New Yorker who gets things done. He's got his name on buildings like this one. And he has some good ideas, like telling Pat Buchanan to take a walk. He has programmatic ideas. He's got a reasonable record with working people. He's got union jobs. Why not?
All right, he
Why
appeared
not?
on the Larry King show and spoke about
Why
his
not?
potential running mate. This is what
Why
he had
not?
to say.
The polls have been unbelievable.
1999, why not?
Form a presidential exploratory committee. I might as well announce it on your show. Everyone else does. But I'll be forming that and effective, I believe, tomorrow. And we'll see. I mean, we're going to take a very good, strong look at it. And if I felt I couldn't win, I wouldn't run. I absolutely would not run. I'm not looking to get more votes than any other independent candidate in history. I'd want to win.
All right, what about the Trump-Winfrey ticket?
Well, it gets kind of absurd. I mean, realistically, we've had one song and dance band in the presidency. We've had a couple of song and dance band in the Senate. Why not a developer and a talk show host? I mean, this is politics in late 20th century America. Anything can happen.
Anything can happen. What are the odds here?
The issue isn't whether he runs for president and wins. The issue is what happens to the Reform Party. They nominate Pat Buchanan, they get moved all the way to the right and marginalized. They nominate Donald Trump, they got a shot to create a third independent movement. And that's just the way it is, and that's why Ventura is so interested.
All right, you mentioned some of these characters. What happens now as far as that third party is concerned? You've got Ventura, you've got Buchanan, you've got Perot, potentially other people as well.
A lot of what occurs here will determine the outcome of the presidential race, frankly, in 2000. If Buchanan's the nominee, he'll destroy the Republicans. If Trump's the nominee, who knows? But more importantly, the battle here is between Minnesota Governor Jesse Ventura and Ross Perot, the mega millionaire billionaire, for control of the Reform Party. If Buchanan, who is Perot's candidate, is the nominee, they'll be marginalized and moved all the way to the right. If Trump's the nominee, potentially they've got a shot to be a third force where they'll get some votes.
Generally speaking, what is the effect of third parties on the two major parties?
Well, if you look at '92 in the presidential campaign, certainly Ross Perot's run for president, which was serious, He went in and went out, if you may recall, helped Bill Clinton become the president. He took votes away from the Republicans. And it can happen either way, only because the Reform Party has a brand name and people are used to voting for it.
So you wouldn't advise, you would not advise scoffing at a Trump candidacy?
I wouldn't advise scoffing at the Reform Party. And Trump is a more logical choice for them than Buchanan is if they want to be important.
Hank, thanks for coming out this morning.
Thank you.
Hank Shankoff, political analyst.
After the city couldn't do it, Donald Trump stepped in to fix Central Park's Wollman ice skating rink. But could he do the same for the zoo?
Well, Donald Trump put the ice where his mouth was. He said he'd fix the Wollman skating rink, and he did, early and under budget. The city had poured millions of our tax dollars into it year after year, and still no ice. Then along came Trump. Rosanna Scotto reports.
The Wollman skating rink has been a thorn in the city's side. No matter how hard they tried or how much they spent, the city couldn't put Wollman back together again until builder Donald Trump stepped in and did what many people call the impossible. Where the city spent 7.5 years and $15 million, Trump finished the rink in 3.5 months and about $3 million, and even saved the city some bucks.
Why it was done so quickly by me and so long, well, talk to the city about the 7.5 years. As far as we're concerned, I'd like to say that we're capable people.
Now, just because Mr. Trump came in at record time and under budget doesn't mean he scrimped and scraped the bottom of the barrel. According to him, he used the best of everything, from construction workers to equipment.
If you look at the quality of this pour, you know, this is something only construction people really understand.
Trump acted like the proud papa, showing off the outside and the inside of the complex, while the workers put the finishing touches on everything, including the renovated landscape. But Mr. Trump was concerned. He hasn't been told yet if he can run the place when it opens, and he's worried about what will happen if he's not around.
If it's not taken care of, we're going to have graffiti all over the place in 3 weeks.
Oh my God, he did it for free?
Someone obviously missing from today's media event was the king of the parks himself. Commissioner Henry Stern said he couldn't make it because of scheduling conflicts. But was he given the cold shoulder?
No, there was, well, he didn't have to accommodate me.
Henry Stern has opposed me on everything I've ever wanted to do in the city, practically, but I still like Henry Stern. I've always gotten along with Henry.
Wow.
He's been opposition, and I always say, please oppose me, Henry, because so far things have worked out okay.
The skating ring will open to the public sometime in November, depending on how much cold weather we get. But either way, on November 22nd, there will be a big opening night gala with stars like Dorothy Hamill, Peggy Fleming, and Scott Hamilton performing for free.
It was only worried about
Trump.
whether the graffiti
From the
was
Wollman skating ring in Central Park, Rosanna Scotto, Channel 5 News.
Developer Donald Trump made a successful takeover of the city's Wollman skating rink, and now the billionaire has another project on his mind. But as Steve Powers tells us, he will have to fight for it.
There it is, amidst the foliage of Central Park, the Central Park Zoo. To many, it's a respite from the mad pace of the city. But now it's become a battlefield, and in the trenches, Mayor Koch and Donald Trump.
Jesus Christ!
Triumphant in
No
completing
shit,
the
he did it
Wollman
for
Rink
free.
last year at a cost of about $2 million in 4 months, after the city spent $12 million in nearly 8 years.
He did it for 2 after they spent 12.
The battle zone is strewn with charges and countercharges. The fact is that the zoo has been closed about 4 years and will cost $28 million. $6 million more than planned.
You look at a simple zoo that's been closed from 1982 to the present, and they're talking about 6 years.
How long should it have taken?
It should have taken, I would say, no more than 12 months to 18 months.
They're saying it won't be open until next year.
Well, they're just not competent people. You're talking about people that don't have ability, and that's a shame. There's no leadership at the top. Ed Koch has been a mayor who, all he's got going is one-liners.
And Trump says he'd like a shot at rebuilding the zoo. Is Donald Trump going to move into this project and complete it?
No, the project has basically already been built. It's done. The animals will begin moving into the zoo in a few months.
There's no room for Trump den in there.
No den or even a cage.
They don't want me to get anywhere near it. Not for the good of the city, but because they don't want to embarrass themselves.
Is there something personal between you and the mayor? Is it political?
If I ever run against Ed Koch, I'd beat him, because that man is weak. He's so weak. It's so pathetic. When you look at the corrupt administration...
Are you ready to run against him?
I'm not running against him because I don't want to be mayor.
Donald Trump has said that if he ran for president, he would win. Is that braggadocio? Or as they say in Italian, chutzpah?
He wants to be president.
One thing is for sure, that at about this time next year, either there's going to be some animals behind this glass, or Donald Trump will be rattling Mayor Koch's cage. Steve Powers, Fox News, Channel 5.
In 1989, a controversial ad Donald Trump took out in several newspapers calling for the death penalty divided the city and the nation.
The personal tragedy of that young female jogger and her friends and family erupted into a bitter public controversy today. Pablo Guzman has that story.
It's crazy, guys.
One of the city's best-known names, Donald Trump, took the incident that occurred in Central Park to launch full-page ads in the 4 dailies calling for the death penalty and support of the police.
The lawyers, and boy do I know lawyers, they laugh at our justice system because they can keep these young men out of court for years.
The Trump ad is an ad which conveys that Donald Trump is filled with hate.
When Mayor Koch talks about the fact that I and other people in this city aren't supposed to hate people that go around killing and robbing and mugging all of us, then I disagree with the mayor.
The politicians and the powerful were not the only ones who spoke out against the attack in Central Park. The children were heard from also. The occasion was a calling together of about 100 student leaders from the junior high schools and high schools to focus students' thoughts on the violence in the park and what such violence says and does not say about our young people.
They had families who loved them, friends who cared. How could this have happened? Families can hope, protect, discipline, love, and pray for us.
Bill, you're a number one commenter late night, too. I'm going to give it to you.
All debates set aside, the bottom line in this case is the crime itself. The police and the Manhattan DA are continuing their investigation. And within the next week and a half, they expect to have more pieces of the puzzle put together. They have to. After all, given the severity of her injuries, the victim in this case is not expected to testify as a witness on her own behalf. From Central Park, I'm Pablo Guzman, Fox News, Channel 5.
We never ban anybody. We watch them. We make them watch in silence.
1990, Trump's new casino and hotel on the Atlantic City Boardwalk opened with big fanfare, but just a year later, there was trouble for the Taj Mahal.
Donald Trump gave the high rollers the moon and stars tonight, along with a fancy laser show and fireworks to open his Taj Mahal. He's hoping they will give him at least $1 million a day at the gaming tables. That's just to break even. Robin Carter is inside the Taj right now in Atlantic City with a look at the big opening night party for you. Robin?
Well, John, from the sound of those slot machines behind me, it sounds as if Donald Trump is already breaking even. But let's face it, who really cares about that? What everybody wanted to know tonight was who was the Donald going to bring as his date for the Big Bash.
Fuck it. All right, Pinnacle Productions, you are now a mod. You want to know who else is modded? I'm going to also mod Ronnie. Don't make me regret this, guys. Don't make me regret this. Do not abuse your powers. Let's go.
The party is still going on in a ballroom upstairs, so the night is still young. But I can tell you, so far we have not seen the alleged other woman, Marla Maples. So far we have not seen Ivana Trump, who a lot of people thought might show up. A lot of people thought that the Trumps might kiss and make up at this big bash. And so far we have not seen the alleged mystery guest, who a lot of folks thought might be Michael Jackson, because he is going to be here tomorrow for a private tour. So as far as the celebrity count goes, this wasn't exactly the party of the decade, but Donald Trump did stage a carnival here tonight in a city that revels in pseudo-glitz.
Here goes nothing.
Rub the lamp. Common century on the right track. That's all that matters.
Master.
Donald Trump's party of the decade was a cross between Arabian Nights and Star Wars, as a laser light cut the ribbon on the Taj Mahal and a spectacular fireworks display.
Jackson was there for a private tour with Trump, Epstein, and Gates.
The adoring crowd, his billion-dollar baby is already paying off.
They talked about $1 million a day. I think, Bucky, we've done that in the first few hours. We have a lot of surprises. This building is a winner. Nobody's seen anything like it. The reviews have been unanimous raves. I've never been more delighted. I always thought when I did Trump Tower in New York, that was always going to have a special place, and it will.
I love that.
But now this really has to take the mantle, because what's happened here is beyond even my wildest expectations.
And among the fabulous somebodies who have already shown up for this party, model Elle McPherson and Michael Spinks, and casino rival Merv Griffin, who lost the Taj to Trump in a bitter takeover battle.
And to think, ladies and gentlemen, that I owned this for 24 hours. This hotel casino alone is going to bring hundreds of thousands of new people to Atlantic City, and once they get a taste of this end of the boardwalk, they're never going to leave. They're going to love it. The boardwalk has tilted, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm delighted.
And the billion-dollar Taj is already shaping up to be quite a blockbuster. On Monday, the Taj was only open for slot machines, for real money, and on that day, they took in over $900,000 in just 8 hours. Today, the first day of unlimited gambling, an official tells me they expect to rake in over $3 million. So at least so far, it looks like Donald Trump is winning at his latest game of Monopoly on the Atlantic City boardwalk. I'm Robin Carter. Now back to John in the studio.
All right, Robin, thanks.
Well, the song says what a difference a day makes, but what a difference a year can make. Last year, the Trump Taj Mahal Casino opened with great expectations, but that's hardly the mood now.
Damn.
One step beyond your wildest imagination. A billion-dollar dream come true.
Or could it be a nightmare waiting to happen? The Taj Mahal opened its doors to reveal a lavish casino 1 year ago today.
It was like any event structure. That's crazy.
There was much fanfare and ballyhoo, but the ballyhoo has turned to boohoo as Donald Trump's Taj Mahal failed to meet its great expectations.
So far, it's staying afloat. He's making payroll because of there's cash flow. His biggest problem is paying bondholders, and he's barely made his payments.
Now, although the Taj Mahal has led Atlantic City's casinos in gross gaming revenues since it opened, it's had to struggle to meet the average daily intake that analysts predicted it needed to break even.
The original estimate was that he had to make $1.3 million a day to break even, which would have meant somewhere around $400 million.
1.3 to break even, and I thought that the 900,000 in slots was impressive. Yikes.
In the year in gross revenue. No casino's ever even approached.
Just too much
After
spent.
he has restructured his loans, I believe the dollar figure now is somewhere around $800,000 a day.
A financial stability hearing on the Taj Mahal began last December and is still going on, and will run smack into the casino's April 26th relicensing hearing. And according to Trump's attorneys, financial restructuring will put the Taj under bankruptcy protection by April 8th.
Hey, 000.
And while Trump was busy trying to keep the Taj Mahal afloat, it's possible he may have been causing Trump Castle and Trump Plaza to sink.
If you look at the numbers from last year, every property lost market share.
I only voted for him in
last
2024
year as a result of the Taj Mahal opening.
Because of RFK.
Taj officials anticipate they will be in bankruptcy court for quite some time. And Trump just might end up with the Trump card. Some analysts say there are two lessons to be learned here. Don't bite off more than you can chew, and all that glitters is not necessarily gold.
The Trump Shuttle gave Pan Am a run for its money as the dueling airlines competed to rule the sky.
Wait, Trump
Donald
was a commercial
Trump says
airline?
he's out
I
to
had no
divorce some
idea.
Pan Am customers from their shuttle flights.
I
so
had
he
no idea.
can
This
get
is
the
crazy.
business.
Wait, you
Christopher
tried to
Jones
do a
reports.
commercial air? Bro, what? Bro did commercial air? That's crazy. I don't remember
It was
that
back in
movie.
June of last year that the king of the deal, the man we have come to know as the Donald, made good on a dream and bought himself
I
a
love how
major
they used to call
operation
him
in the
the
lucrative
Donald,
air
and
corridors
now no one calls him that.
connecting New York with Washington and Boston.
Donald.
Champagne, strings, and an eager Donald Trump gave notice on opening day that Trump would not miss a beat when it came to promoting the shuttle he named, of course, for himself.
Airlines crazy, right, bro?
Right
I
from
didn't know that
opening
was a
day, Donald
commercial
Trump
thing. I
has
thought that
known
was
two
just him
things
playing
about what he
in the
must do to make
presidency.
the Trump Shuttle a big success. Get there on time and get there
Where'd
safely.
this go to?
On the
Columbus,
time
Ohio?
issue, he proved to be just a little bit sensitive.
You got off 17 minutes late, Mr. Trump. Well, that's because of you guys. We couldn't get your cameras on the plane.
The Trump
Oh,
Shuttle.
wait. So he's already attacking the media. So the media's like, he was a little cranky and sensitive. And then he's like, so you were about 17 minutes late for takeoff. Yeah, because your fucking camera's trying to get on the plane.
Is a major moneymaker, and so is its major competition, the
Trump and
Pan
the
Am
media
Shuttle.
have always
But
been
Trump
at
is
it.
trying to grab a bigger share of the lucrative, mostly business traveler market, and for the rest of March, Trump will offer what he calls an unconditional guarantee. Essentially, the Trump guarantee says that if your flight's more than 15 minutes late, you have three options. You can get 5,000 bonus miles on your frequent flyer card, or you can take a companion along free on your next weekend Trump Shuttle flight, or you can get a $20 American Express restaurant certificate. And we asked a few people what they'd take and if it made any difference.
I don't think they'll make very much difference in the long run. I think we're more concerned about the quality of the service.
We got something this morning.
Yeah, exactly.
We're late, going to Boston this morning.
I don't know that I'm getting on the Trump Shuttle, bro.
Yeah.
And what did you take?
The $20, the free meal or whatever.
I was actually hoping that we were going to be late.
I got $20, which I already applied to my lunch.
Pan Am says it doesn't
Everybody
plan to
got
match
that
the Trump
$20.
offer. Pan Am spokesman says Pan Am feels its passengers already know
can't
Pan
make
Am
this shit
Shuttle
up.
will arrive on time. Still, as Pan Am may discover,
free ticket
it's
for
nice
my
to be on
fucking
time,
counterpart.
but if there's a
Give me
freebie
fucking
attached,
$10.
some may prefer to be just a little bit late. Christopher Jones, Fox News, Channel 5.
The early 90s brought trouble for Trump as his business empire was rocked by money problems.
Oh, money.
The news media love to create heroes. The only thing they like better is tearing them apart. Donald Trump used to be the darling of the
Damn
media.
straight.
Now he's the latest.
I love you, newsman. Newsman from June of 1990. You know what's up.
Latest target. Christopher Jones reports.
Call it Donald Trump's worst nightmare. His name may no longer mean success. Not if you read the New York tabloids, anyway. The unthinkable has happened. Trump may be caught in a financial vice, and if the reports are true, the banks are beginning to squeeze, worried about the more than $2 billion the Donald owes them. The talk of the possible collapse of the Trump empire began in earnest Monday on the front page of the Wall Street Journal. Trump himself confirmed he was having talks with his bankers, but called the discussions cooperative and constructive. But for a man who plays close to the vest and likes to exude total confidence, the very fact the statement was made marked a new phase. All is clearly not well. The door has been opened for doubt and for jokes. Trump may have to unload the public trappings of super wealth, including his super yacht, the Trump Princess. So far, no buyers. And if Trump does sell out, Associated Press writer Larry McShane suggests Trump's next book should be titled Trump, the Living Room Carpet. Trump has argued all along that his name is on everything because his name gives more value to the things it is on. But does it anymore? What does Trump's name mean to you now?
Money. A little less, though, than it did before.
I feel sorry for him. He's coming down a lot more than most of us are ever going to come down. He's going to really take a tumble.
It's going to hurt everybody in real estate. It's going to have a ripple effect on anybody in the real estate business.
Are you in the real estate business?
I deal a lot in real estate.
I think he's just going to go down like all the rest of them. Just be rich for a while, then just get poor. Not poor, but he'll probably just be average rich.
The jury is still out, but it may be helpful to remember that Donald Trump has faced heavy odds before. In the early 70s, when the Wizards wrote off the entire real estate industry in New York City, Donald Trump dove in and made millions when the experts said he couldn't. Donald Trump may no longer sail the seas on the Trump Princess, but that does not have to mean he will drown. Christopher Jones, Fox News, Channel 5.
Donald Trump and the banks that loaned him money are still locked in marathon negotiations that will probably drastically reshape the Trump empire.
Donald's in a hell of a lot of trouble. The only thing that may be keeping him from filing Chapter 11 bankruptcy right now is all the banks. When you owe hundreds of millions of dollars to the banks, they become your partners. They don't want to see you go under.
The immediate issue, tens of millions of dollars in missed interest payments on Trump Castle Casino bonds. The beleaguered billionaire has been given until next Monday to make up the default. it's possible he could be forced into bankruptcy or liquidation and could even lose his casino licenses. But at the Donald's 44th birthday party this past weekend, Trump told his workers at the Taj Mahal casino not to count him out.
Over the years, I've surprised a lot of people. The biggest surprise is yet to come, and it won't be much of a surprise to those of you that know. Thank you very much.
But the real stakes are even higher. According to the Wall Street Journal, Trump's bankers are pushing him hard to give up day-to-day control of the Trump organization. The Journal also reports the banks are no longer trying to nurse the Donald back to financial health. They're simply trying to pave the way.
Stop calling him the Donald. You're like part of the problem. It's so crazy.
For an orderly liquidation of his assets.
He should have gotten out of real estate 3 years ago. Instead, he was buying things like the Plaza Hotel, paying top dollar. Bought the Trump Shuttle just as
Newsom
that
almost
market
got
was
one
weakening.
in today.
So he missed some of the biggest cycles
Rubio
of
got
his
it
life.
instead.
A few months ago, Donald Trump was wrapped up in a steamy sex scandal with Marla Maples and was in the middle of breaking up with his wife Ivana. That battle had just started to cool down, and now the Donald finds himself fighting for his financial life. Right now, it looks like the high-flying Trump saga.
We do have a lot of viewers who just want to stop by for 1 second and just let you know. Double tap, hit that screen, hit that subscribe button, guys. And if you're with us on this awkward, weird rabbit hole of Donald Trump tonight, normally what we do is we cover Donald Trump live every time that he speaks. I try to stay kind of impartial because sometimes we get left, sometimes we get right. But basically, if you hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, I got the call sheets. I'm somebody that used to work at The Daily Show, and this is what I do. I go live with the news 7 days a week.
May land in either bankruptcy court or under the eyes of his creditors. And even then, Donald Trump's troubles may not be over. The Wall Street Journal reports Trump personally guaranteed $500 million in loans from bankers who were swayed simply by the power of the Trump name. And he could end up owing some of that money, even if all of his properties are sold. John Johnston, Fox News, Channel 5.
The self-proclaimed master of the deal has pulled it off once again, and this latest deal may have saved his financial empire, at least for now. Donald Trump needed to come up with $20 million by midnight. A group of 7 banks gave Trump the $20 million to pay the interest on his junk bonds for his Trump Castle Casino.
I was like, do I do it
the
with the Nixon? Do I do Nixon tapes? Do I not do 9/11? What do I do to deep dive just to test to see if I can beat the virtual algorithm? And guys, it is unchecked. If you play Orange Man from the start of your vertical live stream,
possibly losing his empire while complex negotiations on a long-term bailout continue. The banks want Trump to sell some of his assets, but they had no choice but to give him more money right now.
The key has been to avoid a distress sale, if possible.
Trump said he was happy with the outcome, which gives him 5 years to restructure his empire. But as he buys time, his financial challenge does not get any easier. Bankers had to suspend interest payments on his $2 billion of loans, and Trump needs another $45 million to keep afloat through summer.
I was 5 minutes away from doing the Watergate tapes, and I was like, I'm just going to fall asleep.
Banks are giving Trump more money because many of his assets, like the Trump Shuttle, the Plaza Hotel, make money. And bankers believe that these properties would fetch greater prices after a few more years of profitable operations.
Well, obviously, the banks have considerable exposure at stake, and it's in their best interest and the interest of their stockholders
that they're being... since Capone, and they keep calling him the Donald in all these news clips. It's like they were perpetuating it.
Orderly process available to Trump. If they were forced to deal with a fire sale mentality or approach, then they might not realize the best pricing available in the sale of some assets in order to pay down some of the debt.
As part of his new deal, the free-spending Trump will be put on a strict budget, $450,000 a month, or about $10 every minute. Most of his money will go toward maintaining the 50-room penthouse at the Trump Tower and his 118-room, fully staffed Mar-a-Lago mansion in Palm Beach. It's a lot of money, but less than the $583,000 he spent on personal expenses last month. In May, Trump also spent another $246,000 maintaining his private plane, $840,000 on his Princess yacht, $2 million in interest on his personal line of credit, and $380,000 for charity and legal fees. These business expenses, however, will not be counted in his new budget. Donald Trump's troubles couldn't have come at a worse time for the nation's banks. They have very poor earnings, and they're starting to cut back costs. Yesterday, Chase Manhattan Bank said it was going to have to eliminate 3,000 employees. Bob Plunkett, Fox News, Channel 5.
Money woes weren't the only problem Donald Trump faced in the early 90s. It was a war of the Trumps as Donald and Ivana's divorce battle heated up.
And it's a night when both sides are digging in deeper, squaring off for the battle for the billions, the Trump fortune. Donald and Ivana are lining up their attorneys, public relations people, and accountants. Our Judy Lick.
Where's everybody at right now? Where are you guys from? Where's everybody from?
I'm shocked to see so much press. I know the only thing they want to do is discuss the tour to Trump today.
Wrong, Don. They wanted to talk divorce like everyone else.
I feel bad for Ivana. I don't think he's handling it very well.
What do you think she should get?
A lot more. Well, she deserves all she can get.
The whole town has an opinion on the so-called War of the Trumps. The divorce of the decade has turned into a duel between the leading gossips, Liz and Cindy, for the greatest
California,
scoop.
St. Louis.
Even the lawyers and the publicists are duking it out.
Austin.
Ivana has hired public relations whiz John Scanlon to take on Donald's firm, Howard Rubenstein and Associates.
And yesterday, Ivana's lawyer, Michael Kennedy, threatened to sue Rubenstein for allegedly slandering Mrs. Trump.
But enough of the bishops and the pawns in this chess game. Let's get back to the king and queen.
And then the orange microphone. Like, they just need to, man, the 90s need to
and
quit.
Find out how this latest round supposedly started.
The real break came because they went to Aspen, and there they were, the happy couple, and they kept bumping into this actress, Marla Maples. And she's the one that Donald has supposedly been seeing for about a year. And my sources tell me that Donald went out on New Year's Eve, and instead of bringing Ivana, he brought Marla Maples to a party. Evidently, one day, Donald and Ivana were skiing.
And if you guys were watching the White House Correspondents' Dinner with us way earlier tonight, Donald Trump referenced this in his speech. He was talking about how he was sitting with Laura Maples, the tennis player, at the White House Correspondents' Dinner when Obama was roasting him and people predicted that he was going to run for president. So all comes full circle tonight, guys.
Stopped for lunch at this place called Bonnie's when
that's who he was cheating on his wife
and
with.
Supposedly Ivana had some words with Marla Maples. Basically, stay away from my husband.
There are lots of Mrs. Mapleses. I mean, Donald was blessed with the genes of John F. Kennedy. John F. Superstud, you know.
And Cindy Adams says Donald met with Ivana just yesterday.
He went alone. It was a very emotional meeting. She was totally drained. She was crying. It was a very heavy situation.
Who the fuck are you?
They talked somewhat. She wants $150 million. It's a nice round sum. She would also like to have a jet plane. She would also like to have the plaza.
What about the prenuptial agreement?
I spoke to Donald today. Donald says, quote, I will be fair to her. What does fair mean? He says, I have always loved Ivana. I am very devoted to her. I am very devoted to my children. I have always been good to her. I will be good to her now.
Today, representatives from both sides tell us that they want things to, quote, cool down a bit so that, quote, reasonable heads can negotiate in a reasonable fashion. But when you're talking about $1.7 billion, you wonder how reasonable can that be?
Whoa, that was the asset control at the time? Oh my God, imagine that divorce settlement. $1.3 billion.
Donald and Ivana Trump have officially ended their 12-year marriage. The two were divorced today after months of gossip and scandal. And while the knot may have been untied, many loose ends remain. Eric Shawn has our story.
I've treated Ivana very well. I will continue to treat Ivana very well. I think everybody knows that. All of the people that know me know that.
Donald Trump is a man who, it seems, gets what he wants. And now Trump is once again a bachelor, thanks to Ivana, his former wife. Behind this closed door at Manhattan Civil Court, the Trumps officially split. The divorce was granted to Mrs. Trump by New York State Court Judge Phyllis Gangle Jacob, who wrote it was based on Mr. Trump's cruel and inhuman treatment, such as made it unfaith or improper to continue to be married. At the Plaza Hotel just hours after the divorce was made final, Trump said he has not yet decided if his ex-wife will remain as hotel president.
I haven't really made that determination. It'll be made over a period of time.
The divorce comes after 12 years of marriage. 3 kids, an empire, a yacht, estates, hotels, a breakup, near bankruptcy, Marla Maples, and last week, another new playmate, Miami model, Ruann Brewer.
He said, what a great time for a divorce to come about when there is a recession and everybody thinks that I'm not worth very much money.
Ivana is still pressing ahead with her lawsuit to throw out the $25 million postnuptial agreement she signed, but now claims is invalid because Donald was allegedly cheating on her.
That $25 million is not there, I believe, so she has the right medicine, but too late in the illness.
Lawyers for both sides refuse to discuss the divorce,
his
which will have
lawyer?
no effect on the maintenance, child support, or other money issues that should go to trial this spring.
Yo,
so while the Trump marital
God
union has
damn.
legally ended, it seems the domestic saga of New York's most famous divorcee and her ex will play out on the front pages in coming months. At Civil Court, I'm Eric Shaw, Fox News, Channel 5.
It was the clash of the titans, the business titans, that is, when Donald Trump and real estate powerhouse Leona Helmsley took their dislike for each other public.
And Donald Trump and Leona Helmsley now agree on one thing. It's how much they dislike each other. And the war of words is growing. Christopher Jones reports.
One might think that when the mighty fall, at least they might have some sympathy for those plummeting with them. But while Donald Trump and Leona Helmsley have been to the mountaintop, they have not exactly been ennobled by the experience. In case more evidence is necessary, the November issue of Playboy magazine carries an interview with Leona, better known as the Queen of Mean, the title of an upcoming CBS television movie.
He charges that the owners of the building, that's me, Leona, and their sales brokers, that's you. Get to the point.
We may get to know a little bit more about Leona when the movie airs, but we already know just how she feels about Donald Trump. After telling Playboy she did not want to talk about Trump, she proceeded to lash out at him. You watch, she said, he's going to be left flat on his can, and it couldn't happen to a nicer person. Her attack was a clear response to Trump's own remarks to Playboy, published earlier this year. Trump on Leona. She is a vicious, horrible woman who has systematically destroyed the Helmsley name. Leona on Trump. I wouldn't believe Donald Trump if his tongue was notarized. Trump on Leona. Leona Helmsley set the women's movement back 50 years. She is a living nightmare, and to be married to her must be like living in hell. Leona on Trump. He's a sick, 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 sick boy. He lies for his own benefit, of course. Trump on Leona. She's out of her mind, a truly evil human being. And Leona on Trump. He's a snake. Now he doesn't have any money. If Ivana gets $1 million, she'll be lucky. And it goes on and on. But why hear more? You might get the idea that Queen of Mean and the Donald don't care for each other.
I'd say it's the kettle calling the pot black. Now you've got to decide who's the kettle and who's the pot.
There must be a lesson in all of this for us, the little people who pay taxes and think 3 bedrooms make a big apartment. Pick one, and then the next time you walk past Trump Tower or Helmsley Palace, smile. After all, if you owned one of those places, you'd just be miserable. Christopher Jones, Fox News, Channel 5.
It didn't take long for Donald Trump to bounce back from his money problems. In 1992, things started to turn around for the Donald.
1992 certainly turned out to be a good year for Donald Trump. The man many thought was finished is now on the comeback trail and sounding as confident as ever. Fox interviewer Daphne Barak spoke with Trump recently, and Christopher Jones has the story.
Donald Trump, the businessman, as superstar.
Hey, folks, how we doing?
The man on the street, the man and woman on the street like me. If I walk down the street, the taxi cab driver, the bus drivers, everybody screaming, Donald, we love you, Donald, we love you, Donald. Those are the people that I like best. Those are the people that like me the best.
Who likes Donald Trump in here? Hey! Who doesn't like him? Have a good time, everybody. You want to go upstairs?
For a while there, it looked like Donald Trump was going to be yet another casualty of the 80s. But suddenly, Trump is creating a new role for himself, the comeback kid, a 90s survivor. Telling Fox interviewer Daphne Barak.
It's been a rough 2 years, and this has been maybe 1992 has been perhaps the best year of my life. It's been just an incredible period of time.
It hasn't been easy for the Donald. His personal life was the stuff of newspaper headlines. The messy divorce, the on-again, off-again affair with Marla Maples. Then there were the endless meetings with bankers as he struggled with an estimated $5 billion in debt.
During the bad years of 1990 and 1991, I had some really, anxious moments, but somehow I have something in me that doesn't let me think negatively, and I always thought that I'd succeed, and I always thought that I'd make it back.
Forced by his bankers, Trump attacked his mountain of debt, selling assets like the Trump Shuttle, his yacht, stakes in Alexander's, and the Grand Hyatt. He also sold off large chunks of the Plaza Hotel and 2 Atlantic City casinos.
When I sell, let's say, a 20% interest in the Taj Mahal in New Jersey, I get a lot of money for that. And by getting a lot of money, I pay off debt, or I reduce interest rates, or I do other things, and make it even more successful. I mean, I predict that in a year from now, I'll be more successful than I was 3 or 4 years ago.
Even so, analysts believe Trump's debts still outweigh his assets by hundreds of millions. But Trump still has his name and his fame, and he's trading on both, adapting his business philosophy to the new realities.
And I think that's where the 90s are going to be different for a lot of people than the 80s. I think there's going to be less borrowing, and I think there's going to be more focus on management and cash flow. In the 80s, there was focus on asset and asset value. In the 90s, there's going to be focus on cash flow and keeping debt down to minimum levels.
Trump's big cash cow at the moment is the Taj Mahal Casino, one of his 3 4-star casinos in Atlantic City. When the Taj opened, many called it the Donald's biggest gamble and predicted he'd end up with a losing hand. It hasn't turned out that way.
At one time, the Taj Mahal had to make $1 million a day, and it's doing about $1.5 million and $1.6 million a day. So the numbers have been phenomenal. Most people predicted that that building was going to lead to my downfall. That was, part of my problem was I had this cloud of this big, huge, unopened building, and they really thought that this building was going to be a catastrophe for me, and it's really turned out to be perhaps my best deal.
The best, the greatest, the most beautiful. Anyone who's heard Trump knows there's no room in his vocabulary for smaller words.
It's easier for me to talk about the greatest and the best when I'm talking about the Taj Mahal or when I'm talking about a Trump Tower than it would be if I was talking about lesser things. I don't think I'd be able to sell them.
Right now, Trump is selling his most ambitious product, Riverside South. If built as planned, Riverside South would dramatically change the Upper West Side of Manhattan. Trump wants to build 16 high-rise apartment buildings and a Riverside Park on the old Penn Railroad yards.
We're building a city within a city, a great city within a city. And it will keep me busy. I mean, there's no question that will keep me busy. It'll be, I think, my greatest artistic achievement when it's finished. I'm not sure about my financial achievement because I'm not sure about that yet. I can't tell you. I don't know what the markets are going to be, etc. But I think it will be my greatest artistic achievement.
With New York's real estate and construction industries still in recession, it could be some time before the first spadeful of earth is turned. But as you'd expect, Trump is optimistic, especially with Mr. Clinton going to Washington.
I think the most important thing that Clinton can do in terms of the economy is to get the real estate industry back into focus, to get housing construction, to get an incentive to build residential property. If he can bring back those incentives, you will see an economy that's going to start to roar. It's really going to come back.
I'm Christopher Jones, Fox News.
In the early 2000s, it became the catchphrase heard around the world.
Fired.
You're fired.
Yo, you're
fired. Are giving Donald Trump a Trump-sized paycheck. Now, that's his catchphrase on his show, The Apprentice. He's reportedly making a good chunk of change from that show, too, about $6 million for just 16 episodes. But as you know, the billionaire really does not need that paycheck. In fact, he says it may sound like a lot of money, but real estate is actually a lot better.
In 2008, Donald Trump sat down with Fox 5 News anchor Rosanna Scotto to talk about the stock market, Wall Street regulations, and President Obama.
The economic aftershocks just keep coming. The stock market is coming off a big rally, but investors are still worried and wondering what's next. Yesterday, I sat down with Donald Trump at his office in Midtown to talk about this volatile economy and where he's putting his money. And as usual, he didn't hold back.
Well, the economy to me has been very interesting because it's a great opportunity. This is a fantastic opportunity to buy things. If you have money or if you know what you're doing, this is a great, great opportunity to buy. I don't think I've ever seen anything like it. Now, I'm not a stock person, fortunately, but real estate is phenomenal right now. If you're an investor, this is the time.
Your children are following in your footsteps. What advice do you have for them to weather this economy?
Well, I have great kids, and it was very interesting because until the last year, they never saw difficult times before. They never saw a bad time. Everything, you know, they went to school, they went to the Wharton School of Finance in the case of Don and Ivanka, and, you know, they came out and all they did is see this. And I'm glad because you're always going to have the ups and downs. The question is how low does it go? Because this is really a bad time. And this is 1929 all over again, almost.
How low do you think it's going to go?
Well, I personally think it's going to get worse before it gets better. And I think it's going to be perhaps even worse than that. I think it's going to be for a protracted period of time, for a fairly long period of time.
I did a really huge
we had a president who didn't do a great job. President Bush, this was not one of our great leaders. This was not Abraham Lincoln. This was not George Washington we're dealing with.
We can jump
and,
into some Epstein,
you know, hopefully Obama will do a good job.
Right?
What do you think, speaking of Obama, his plans to tax people making over $250,000 a year? In this economy, do you think that's a good idea?
Well, I don't think it was a good proposal, but I think it's going to be certainly on hold. The economy right now is so fragile that a move like that would throw this country into a major depression. Then you would have 1929. So I think he's going to be a very inspirational president. I hope he is. I hope he does a great job. And as I said the other day to somebody, if he doesn't do a great job, we're in big trouble. He can't do just a good job. He's got to do a great job. And great job is about people. He has to put the right people in place.
A lot of people are mad about Wall Street. They want to see somebody take the blame. Should the U.S. attorney look to see, is there somebody to blame here for this mess?
They got caught up in their own hype. They got so caught up, and lots of things were done. If you look at Lehman, trillions of dollars of deals and bad deals and horrible deals and Bear Stearns and so many others. And these were great names. You know, 3 years ago, when you said Bear Stearns, when you said Lehman, you were talking about the Rolls Royce of Wall Street. So there have been a lot of things, and I'm sure there was some shenanigans going on, but I think overall it was just exuberance.
Does there need to be more regulation on Wall Street?
I guess the answer is going to probably be a resounding yes.
How do you feel about some of those CEOs who are walking away with big golden parachutes or big bonuses?
Well, I hate to see where a company goes down the tubes and billions of dollars is lost and some guy walks away with 35 million cash or 90 million in one case in cash. So do I hate to see that? Yes. And I certainly think when they're borrowing money from the government, all of those golden parachutes should be ended. 100%.
Any advice for people who want to weather this storm?
Well, I think weathering the storm is interesting. If you're young and energetic and you have a future, I think it's a great time probably to, I mean, I love real estate. It's a great time to buy real estate. I think it's a great time to probably start thinking about buying stock. Now, I'm not a stock market person, fortunately, because I have friends of mine that make money in real estate that put it in the stock market and they were always bragging how well they're doing. Guess what? They're like 50% down. And those are the conservative ones. They're dying. But I think now, I've never been a stock market person.
Do I go to the Epstein
I think
interview,
now I'm thinking about
I
going into the
do
stock market.
And that was the news then.
All right, I'm going to go to montage of Trump, but if you want to see us watch the Epstein interview, the deep dive, the dirty Epstein interview with Steve Bannon, let me know, because it's right here. We could go deep dive into that. But right now, what I'm going to give you all is this.
Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
Oh, this is music. I don't want music on stuff. Aw, damn. What about this one? Where is it? The Montel.
A lot of money to come back from, but it's been an amazing period of time.
During that period of time, you had some people, and I really, it's kind of a philosophy that I think the two of us definitely share, and I wrote about it in my book.
I've never seen it before.
Or some things I want to do inquiry from the others. Walk me through the Santa Fe Institute.
Oh, this is the full thing.
The most cutting-edge group of mathematicians in the world.
As we can.
Action.
So Santa Fe Institute in the late 80s, early 90s. I was interested, I was on the board of Rockefeller. So that starts, Rockefeller, it's university formed by John D. Rockefeller to sort of give back to the community. It's east side of Manhattan, except it was old. It was sort of old-fashioned. They were talking about medicine, and medicine by itself was, again, subject to the ideas of science. They were trying to use science to find cures for disease. And I said, no, we need to do something different. We need to start interdisciplinary work. In most,
how did a schmuck
There's
like
no way to distinguish what he's saying is not just complete and utter bullshit. So I just can't even, like, it's not even worth it. It's not even worth it to sit there and try to distinguish what he's saying and whatnot. Let's go to this one. Donald Trump.
I believe. I don't necessarily believe in an eye for an eye that way.
Yes,
but,
you
but,
do.
But I do.
I hope you do.
Well, I do. And that, I've read this in your book. When you were at the low, you had people that just championed the fact that you were low. Did they not?
Well, I had people, Montel, that I made, and I don't want to brag about making, but I made these people. I took people that were not rich people. One person worked for government, another one worked for somebody else, not doing very well, and to a point where they bought magnificent estates on the...
It's this one. It's this one. I got the video, guys. I got the next video. Here we go. Stay with me. Here we go.
Go in Colorado. The governor stinks in Colorado. He's no control. So Trende Araga, they don't want to do anything about it. So ICE has to go in and take him out because the governor doesn't want to do anything. But they make a phone call. They've taken over my building. The landlord's calling. They took over his building. So the governor doesn't want to do anything. But he calls the police, the guy. They come in. Did you call the police? This is Trende Araga. We're talking to the man that owns the building. Did you call the police? Yeah. Boom, they cut off his fingers. If you call him again, the next time your hand comes off. Can you believe it? The guy's walking around, his fingers were cut off. And these are the animals that we're throwing the hell out of here. Washington, D.C. is now the safest city in the country. And you people know that better than anybody because you were, I mean, think of it. You're in Congress, you're respected people, you're afraid to walk outside. Washington, D.C. Now, we had a terror attack 4 weeks ago, and one person's looking down from heaven, and the other one is actually recuperating and going to make it, I think, but really badly hurt. Really badly hurt. Most positive mother I've ever... No, my son's going to be fine, sir. The mother was telling me that the night of the attack, I went just like I went to you. I spoke to this incredible woman. Nobody wants to talk about that.
Dude, they just put one speech and they just go, funniest moments ever. All right, guys. Do we do it? Do we go to the debate? What do we do? Maybe I just suffer this.
Remember! Just left pleasure.
Paradise.
For paradise. And let me begin by wishing you a beautiful... Look, you remember this? Do you remember? They were trying to take Christmas out of Christmas, you remember? They didn't want to let you say Merry Christmas. You'd go around, you'd see department stores that have everything red, snow, beautiful, ribbons, bows. Everything was there, but they wouldn't say Merry Christmas. They're all saying Merry Christmas again, you remember?
Sacrifice every day for the furniture, the future.
For the furniture?
Marilyn Lockheed. Mike Bolton, as you know, is in Russia. Mike Pounds.
Mike Pounds! What's worse, guys? Pinky Herman or Mike Pounds?
Justice Anthony, you know who I'm talking about. The Palestinians, and God bless the United States. Thank you very much. Thank you. Telling you, within a very short period of time, you're going to see some statistics coming out on one. I just want to thank all of the incredible men and women who have done such a great job in helping with Florence. This is a tough hurricane, one of the wettest we've ever seen from the standpoint of water. Rarely have we had an experience like it, and it certainly is not good.
Tesla's now worth more than GM and Ford. Do you have comments on Elon Musk?
Well, you have to give him credit. I spoke to him very recently, and he's also doing the rockets. He likes rockets, and he does good at rockets, too, by the way. I never saw where the engines come down with no wings, no anything, and they're landing. I said, I've never seen that before. And I was worried about him because he's one of our great geniuses, and we have to protect our genius. You know, we have to protect Thomas Edison, and we have to protect all of these people that came up with originally the light bulb and the wheel and all of these things. In June of 1775, the Continental Congress created a unified army out of the revolutionary forces encamped around Boston and New York and named
after the great George Washington, Commander-in-Chief. The Continental Army suffered a bitter winter of Valley Forge, found glory across the waters of the Delaware, and seized victory from Cornwallis of Yorktown. Our Army manned the airport. It ran the ramparts. It took over the airports. It did everything it had to do. And at Fort McHenry, under the rocket's red glare, it had nothing but victory.
Look at those hands. Are they small hands?
Oh, tiny hand Marco.
He referred to my hands. If they're small, something else must be small. I guarantee you there's no problem. I guarantee it.
We won the evangelicals. We won with young. We won with old. We won with highly educated. We won with poorly educated. I love the poorly educated.
You're not known to be a humble man, but I wonder.
I think I am actually humble. I think I'm much more humble than you would understand.
Are you familiar with General Soleimani?
Yes. Go ahead. Give me a little. Go ahead. Tell me.
He runs the Quds forces.
Yes. Okay. Right.
Do you expect
and I think the Kurds, by the way, have been horribly mistreated by us.
No, not the Kurds. The Quds forces, the Iranian Revolutionary Guards Quds forces, the bad guys.
Right.
Do you expect his behavior to change as a result?
Kurds.
No. Kurds.
I'm sorry. I thought you said Kurds.
Terrorist Qasem Soleimani. Terrorist. He directed the December assault. You know, we just said another stock rocket. You saw that, right? The stock market. I used to say, Tim, you got to start doing it over here, and you really have. I mean, you've really put a big investment in our country. We appreciate it very much, Tim Apple. But, I mean, Germany, honestly, is not paying their fair share. I have great respect for Angela, and I have great respect for the country. My father is German, right? Was German. And born in a very wonderful place in Germany, and so I have a great feeling for Germany, but they're not. But we can't allow people to get sick, and we can't have our youth be so affected. And I'm hearing it, and that's how the First Lady got involved. She's got a son together that is a beautiful young man, and she feels very, very strongly about it. She's seen it. We're both reading it. A lot of people are reading it, but people are dying with vaping. So we're looking at a Bronze Star and the Combat Infantryman badge for his service. We will have great health care.
Oh, love the chat, guys. Keep the chat going.
Thank you all
I'll drop
very much.
into the chat
Appreciate
in a minute.
it. Thank you.
You guys blow the chat up. You guys have a great time.
Thank you very much.
That's all I know. It's late for me. It's wild. When are we going to get the soda?
Thank you, everybody.
Mr. President, you need to sign.
Sitting at the table, we had finished dinner, we're now having dessert. And we had the most beautiful piece of chocolate cake that you've ever seen. And President Xi was enjoying it. And I was given the message from the generals. So what happens is I said, we've just launched 59 missiles heading to Iraq.
Well, you headed to Syria?
Yes, heading toward Syria. And I want you to know, Normandy and the liberation of Europe. And in less than 2 years, my administration has accomplished more than almost any administration in the history of our country. America's so true. Didn't expect that reaction, but that's okay. She shouldn't treat the United States that way by saying, what an absurd, she said absurd. That's not the right word to use, absurd. The members of our armed forces, and you understand that very well, the members of our armed forces have always lived, despite these obstacles. Karen is now pursuing a degree. The state of California passed an outrageous law declaring their whole state to be a sanctuary for criminal illegal. Assistant Secretary Girard. It's been a very important thing to him and to what he does, and maybe I'll ask Rudy to say a few words.
Well, thank you very, very much, Mr. President. First of all, congratulations on what is in fact a historic start of an administration. I've never seen so much done in so short a period of time.
I hope that
this investigation now, which is finished, it's totally finished. No collusion, no obstruction. I hope they now go and take a look at the oranges of the investigation, the beginnings of that investigation. You look at the origin of the investigation.
The origins.
Where it started, how it started. Democrats decided to shield and shelter criminal. Look, made a pivotal, really, and I mean this was pivotal. And ICE officers removed 10,000 known or suspected gang members. Your campaign of terror, murder, mayhem will not be tolerated any longer. America has achieved energy independence. These historic accomplishments change our strategic priorities. And to replace chasms of distrust with new bridges of opportunity.
Thank you very much. So I asked Bill a question that probably some of you are thinking of if you're totally into that world, which I find to be very interesting. So supposing we hit the body with a tremendous, whether it's ultraviolet or just very powerful light, and I think you said that hasn't been checked, but you're going to test it. And then I said, supposing you brought the light inside the body, which you can do, either through the skin or in some other way. And I think you said you're going to test that, too. Sounds interesting. Right, and then I see the disinfectant.
Use light to destroy COVID.
Where it knocks it out in a minute, 1 minute.
I've seen it.
And is there a way we can do something like that? By injection inside or almost a cleaning, because you see it gets on the lungs and it does a tremendous number of the lungs. So it'd be interesting to check that. So that you're going to have to use medical doctors with. But it sounds interesting to me. So we'll see. But the whole concept of the light, the way it kills it in 1 minute, that's pretty powerful. Minister, convalescent plasma.
Could you clarify your comments about injections of disinfectant? They're quite
No, I was asking a question sarcastically to reporters like you, just to see what would happen. Now, disinfectant for doing this, maybe on the hands, would work. And I was asking the question of the gentleman who was there yesterday, Bill, because when they say that something will last 3 or 4 hours or 6 hours, but if the sun is out or if they use disinfectant, it goes away in less than a minute. Did you hear about this yesterday? But I was asking a very sarcastic question to the reporters in the room about disinfectant on the inside. But it does kill it, and it would kill it on the hands, and that would make things much better. That was done in the form of a sarcastic question to the reporters. The coronavirus, brilliant enemy. They develop drugs like the antibiotics. You see it, antibiotics used to solve every problem. Now one of the biggest problems the world has is the germ has gotten so brilliant that the antibiotic can't keep up with it. And they're constantly trying to come up with a new. People go to a hospital and they go for a heart operation, that's no problem, but they end up dying from problems. You know the problems I'm talking about. There's a whole genius to it. We're fighting, not only is it hidden, but it's very smart, okay? It's invisible.
It's invisible.
And it's hidden, but it's very smart. And you see that.
It's hidden, but it's invisible, but it's very smart.
Case like Denver, but I think we're doing well, and they're on Denver. Remdesivir. Today, starting the process of terminating the diversity lottery program. The Nazis massacred 6 million Jews. The latest act of resistance is the op-ed published in the failing New York Times by an anonymous, really an anonymous, gutless coward.
shit. Sorry, guys.
No, I'm totally off script right now. The Green New Deal, right? Darling, is the wind blowing today? I'd like to watch television, darling. Russia, please, if you can, get us Hillary Clinton's emails. Please, Russia, please. He asked Russia to go get the emails. We're going to look into his finance. I said, where did that come from? He always talked about Russia.
Patriots see a nation and its destiny in ways no one else can. Liberty is only preserved, sovereign is only secured. Democracy is only sustained. Greatness is only realized by the will and devotion of patriots.
If you love what you do and dedicate yourself to your work, then you will gain momentum. And look, joining us from Al-Jabar Air Base in Kuwait is the Central Command Response and Crisis Response. Joy Bashara and Lydia Pogu, who were kidnapped by Boko Haram in April 2014 at the secondary school. We are a nation that created the Panama Canal, the Transcontinental Railroad, and the internet, if you think about this, the great highway system. Which is why the time has come for voter ID, like everything else. Yeah, voter ID. You know, if you go out and you want to buy groceries, you need a picture on a card. You need ID. You go out and you want to buy anything, you need ID, and you need to make sure that we get all of this cleaned out and protected. We got to take care of the floors, you know, the floors of the forests, very important. You look at other countries where they do it differently, and it's a whole different story. I was with the president of Finland, and he said, we have a much different, we're a forest nation. He called it a forest nation. And they spend a lot of time on raking and cleaning and doing things, and they don't have any problem. And when it is, it's a very small problem. But I just want to thank everybody, the first responders. On behalf of myself, our vice president, Melania really wanted to be with us. It's really touched her heart.
Melania's standing right next to him.
Going on, and we've seen the devastation. Obama. Amnesty.
That's my favorite one ever. That is my favorite one ever. I need to pull that back. That is my favorite one ever.
It's really touched her heart what's gone on, and we've seen the devastation.
This one.
Obama. Amnesty.
Mr. President, in one of your Mother's Day tweets, you appear to accuse President Obama of the biggest political crime in American history by far. Those were your words. What crime exactly are you accusing President Obama of committing, and do you believe the Justice Department should prosecute him?
Obamagate. It's been going on for a long time. It's been going on from before I even got elected, and it's a disgrace that it happened. And if you look at what's gone on, and if you look at now all of this information that's being released, and from what I understand, that's only the beginning. Some terrible things happened, and it should never be allowed to happen in our country again. And you'll be seeing what's going on over the coming weeks. And I wish you'd write honestly about it, but unfortunately, you choose not to do so. Yeah, John, please.
Crime. What is the crime exactly that you're accusing him of?
You know what the crime is. The crime is very obvious to everybody. All you have to do is read the newspapers, except yours. Having nuclear. My uncle was a great professor and scientist and engineer, Dr. John Trump at MIT. Good genes, very good genes, okay? Very smart. The Wharton School of Finance, very good, very smart. You know, if you're a conservative Republican, if I were a liberal, if I ran as a liberal Democrat, they would say I'm one of the smartest people anywhere in the world. It's true. But when you're a conservative Republican, they do they do a number? That's why I always thought of went to Wharton, was a good student. Went there, did this, built the... I have to give my credentials all the time because we're at a little disadvantage. But you look at the nuclear deal, the thing that really bothers me, it would have been so easy, and it's not as important as these lives are,
Nuclear is so powerful. My uncle explained that to me many, many years ago, the power, and that was 35 years ago. He would explain the power of what's going to happen, and he was right. Who would have thought? But when you look at what's going on with the 4 prisoners, now it used to be 3, now it's 4. But when it was 3, and even now, I would have said it's all in the messenger. Fellas, and it is fellas because, you know, they haven't figured that the women are smarter right now than the men, so, you know, it's going to take them about another 150 years. But the Persians are great negotiators. The Iranians are great negotiators. So, and they just killed us. This is... but that was the original chart, and you see it was going to hit not only Florida, but Georgia. It could have, was going toward the Gulf. That was what was originally projected. And it took a right turn. I know that Alabama was in the original forecast. They thought it would get it as a piece of it. It was supposed to go, actually, we have a better map than that, which is going to be presented, where we had many lines going directly, many models, each line being a model, and they were going directly through. And in all cases, Alabama was hit, if not lightly, in some cases pretty hard.
That map that you showed us today looked like it almost had like a Sharpie. Right?
I don't know. Nobody has more respect for women than I do. Nobody has more respect.
Please, everybody.
And
Please, everybody.
I'll admit it. I did try to fuck her. She was married.
It's huge news there.
I did try to fuck her.
No, this was and I moved on her
very heavy.
In fact, I took her out furniture shopping. She wanted to get some furniture. I said, I'll show you where they have some nice furniture.
I'll show you where they have some nice furniture. I took her out furniture shopping. I moved her out onto her like a bitch.
Moved on her like a bitch. But I couldn't get there. And she was married. Then all of a sudden, I see her. She's now got the big phony tits and everything. She's totally changed her look. I better use some Tic Tacs just in case I start kissing her. You know, I'm automatically attracted to beautiful. I just start kissing them. It's like a magnet. You just kiss. I don't even wait. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
Whatever you want.
Grab them by the pussy. I can do anything. My people are so smart. And you know what else they say about my people? The polls. They say, I have the most loyal people. Did you ever see that? Where I could stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody and I wouldn't lose any voters, okay? It's like incredible. I'm a very stable genius.
We'll have an economy based on wind. I never understood wind. You know, I know windmills very much. I've studied it better than anybody. I know it's very expensive. They're made in China and Germany mostly. Very few made here, almost none. But they're manufactured tremendous, if you're into this, tremendous fumes, gases are spewing into the atmosphere. You know, we have a world, right? So the world is tiny compared to the universe. So tremendous amount of fumes and everything. You talk about the carbon footprint. Fumes are spewing into the air, right? Spewing. Whether it's in China, Germany, it's going into the air. It's our air, their air, everything, right? So they make these things, and then they put them up. And if you own a house within vision of some of these monsters, your house is worth 50% of the price. They're noisy. They kill the birds. You want to see a bird graveyard? You want to see a bird graveyard? You just go. Take a look. A bird graveyard? Go under a windmill someday. You'll see more birds than you've ever seen ever in your life.
Not wrong there either.
We're doing it right. And you know, our numbers environmentally right now are better than they've ever been before, just so you know. Because I'm an environmentalist. I am. I want the cleanest water on the planet. I want the cleanest air anywhere.
Today, I'm also calling upon all 50 states to immediately waive all applicable state taxes as well. The state taxes. Nobody knows much more about technology, this type of technology, certainly, than I do.
I understand things. I comprehend very well, okay? Better than, I think, almost anybody. And Joe Biden would have that be the whole country.
Joe Biden's coming
It's so
up
crazy
next
what's
for a
happening.
minute.
Here's a guy doesn't talk.
Joe Biden
Nobody
for a
hears
minute.
him. Whenever he does talk, he can't put two sentences together. I don't want to be nice or unnice, okay? But, I mean, the man can't speak. And he's going to be your president because some people don't love me, maybe.
We got to, it's just, but you got to, I mean, we got to reassure. Look, here, my message to everybody I talk to.
Senator Joe, I mean, no, but I mean, think of, I mean, it's not about, I know.
I stopped in Singapore to meet with a guy named Lee Kuan Yew, who most foreign policy experts around the world say is the wisest man in the Orient. That's one of the things that he finds was most in need. When he was over there in Iraq for a year, people would come to him and talk about what was happening at home in terms of foreclosures, in terms of bad loans that were these Shylocks who took advantage of these women and men while overseas. All this stuff about Biden's hiding, well, the fact of the matter is, it's working pretty well. The reason I did what I'm doing is because there's a invasion of Hispanics.
Moving from India, you cannot go to a 7-Eleven or a Dunkin' Donuts unless you have a slight Indian accent. I'm not joking.
How many times you get the call? I'd like to talk to you about your credit card. I'd like to talk to you about your credit card. People don't have a job. People don't have anywhere to go. They don't know what they're going to do. And a lot of people you have unnecessarily. Now we have over 120 million dead from COVID.
Over 120 million dead from COVID.
It's caused carnage on our streets. 150 million people have been killed since 2007 when Bernie voted to exempt the gun manufacturers from liability.
Provide an $8,000 tax credit for everybody who has child care costs. It would put 720 million women back in the workforce.
First of all, I actually like Dick Cheney for real. I get on with him. I think he's a decent man. When I went to see him, I didn't talk to him before.
And turn this primary from a campaign that's about negative attacks into one about what we're for, because we cannot get reelected. We cannot win this reelection. Excuse me, we can only reelect Donald Trump.
Lobbyists aren't bad people. Special interest groups are not bad people. But guess what? They're corrosive. People who accept the money from them aren't bad people, but it's human nature. You go out, Lynn, and bundle $250,000 for me, all legal, and then you call me after I'm elected and say, Joe, I'd like to come and talk to you about something. You didn't buy me, but it's human nature. You helped me. I'm going to say, sure, Lynn, come on in.
Are you at all concerned, as Trump said, that we cannot let the cure be worse than the problem itself?
We have to take care of the cure. That will make the problem worse no matter what. The public option will be available in my plan. We'll make sure it's not quality. We'll make sure it's only affordable.
Senator, I'm sure that you would agree that your service in the Senate...
Joe Biden gonna make me do spit takes my water, bro.
Any particular concern for the larger contributors?
Well, the fortunate thing is I didn't have many larger contributors, and the only reason... See, I went to the big guys for the money. I was ready to prostitute myself in the manner in which I talk about it. But what happened was they said, come back when you're 40, son. And so I had to go out.
But President Trump and the demagogues around the world play the radio. Make sure the television, make sure you have the record player on at night, the phone. Make sure the kids hear words. My name's Joe Biden. I'm a Democratic candidate for the United States Senate. Look me over. If you like what you see, help out. If not, vote for the other guy. Give me a look, though, okay? It's a mischaracterization of my position across the board. What's happening? We're not organizing, and we don't organize the world. Who organizes it? Who organizes it? And so there's so much, I think, anyway, look, one more question here. Is it too late to address the climate change in a meaningful way? You know, the rapidly rising I don't know. That's another issue. But we're going to finally achieve comprehensive immigration reform as well, put millions of citizens on a pathway to citizenship. Put millions of citizens on a pathway to citizenship. Tomorrow's Superstar Tuesday. I love this place. Look, what's not to like about Vermont? 2005, 3,900 of them right here in the state of South Carolina. In the state of Delaware, for example, set up the coastal zone legislation, which means that they can't build any factories or anything within 1 mile of the estuary of the Delaware River and the Atlantic Ocean and the Chesapeake. And so the whole point of this is that we can do a lot to deal with endangered species. And one of the things I would like to raise is that we have to deal with this on an international basis as well. Because
the number one job facing the middle class, and it happens to be, as Barack says, a 3-letter word, jobs, J-O-B-S, jobs.
if you agree with me, go to Joe 30330 and help me in this fight. Watch what happened when those kids from Parkland came up to see me when I was vice president. They went into and some of you covered it. We need to work again with Canada and Mexico as neighbors, not as adversaries. Saks or Benettons or Nike or whatever in the market in their places where the malls. Donald Trump does pose an extra threat to this. It's not hypothetical. The younger generation now tells me how tough things are. Give me a break. No. I have no empathy for it. Give me a break.
The first sort of mainstream African American who was articulate and bright and clean and a nice looking guy. I mean, that's a storybook, man.
There's about 100,000 of them who are the predators. 100,000 of the kids you read about in the front page of the newspaper every day. Unless we do something about that cadre of young people, tens of thousands of them, born out of wedlock, without parents, without supervision, without any structure, without any conscience developing, a portion of them will become the predators 15 years from now. And Madam President, we have predators on our streets. They are beyond the pale, many of those people. We have no choice but to take them out of society.
Listen, you got to come see us when you come to New York, VP Biden.
I will.
It's a long way until November. We got more questions.
You got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black. College campuses to fundamentally change the culture. No man has a right to raise a hand to a woman in anger other than in self-defense, and that's rarely ever occurs. And so we have to just change the culture, period, and keep punching at it and punching at it and punching at it. It will be a big, no, I really mean it. It's a gigantic issue.
Yeah.
All right, Chuck. Thank you very much.
All right. It's Chris, but anyway.
Chris. I just did Chris. No, I just did Chuck. I tell you what, man, these are back to back.
They don't call Super Tuesday for nothing. By the way, this is my little sister, Valerie, and I'm Jill's husband. Oh, no, this is not. Val, you switched on me. This is my wife. This is my sister. They switched on me. I've been a great friend for a long time. And your Paul son is remarkable. Well, folks, eliminate one tax loophole out of $1.6 trillion worth, $1.4 trillion worth. Out of $1.4 billion. It's hard to even say it. It's so much. And by the way, it's cost a lot of money. It cost about $740 billion over 10 years. We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by you know the thing. You had people like you had people like the former chairman and leader of the party in Germany. I think we all agree that the act of protesting should never be overshadowed by the reason we're protesting. Hey, 30 years ago, Nelson Mandela walked out of prison and entered into discussions about apartheid. I had the great honor of meeting him. I had the great honor of being arrested with our UN ambassador on the streets of Soweto. And to get hot, I got hairy legs that turn blonde in the sun. And the kids used to come up and reach in the pool and rub my leg down so it was straight, and then watch the hair come back up again. They look at it. So I learned about roaches. I learned about kids jumping on my lap. And I've loved kids jumping on my lap.
But, we have to have our democracy function and take care of this crisis. You know, in the middle of the Civil War, we had an election. In the middle of the pandemic crisis of we've had an election. In the middle of the pandemic crisis of we've had
Governor Mike DeWine in Ohio, Governor Larry Hogan in Maryland, Governor Charlie Parker in Massachusetts, Governor Charlie Parker in Massachusetts. Beef up the number of responders dealing with these crush of cases. And in addition to that, we have to make sure that we are in a position that we are. Well, let me go to the second thing. I've spoken enough of that. The president must.
We have never failed to respond to a crisis as a people. And I tell you what, I'm so darn proud. And those poor people who have lost, anyway.
Trouble. We should be making those masks. We should be moving on those ventilators. We can do that. Why doesn't he just act like a president? That's a stupid way to say it.
You know, Donald Trump was asked on...
Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I probably best I don't. Only African American woman that ever been elected to the United States Senate. A whole range.
In other countries, so we could be, in fact, observe, see when things were coming, how things were moving. And if that's the case, it's the case. But we cannot let this, we've never allowed any crisis from the Civil War straight through to the pandemic of 17, all the way around 16. We have never let our democracy take second fiddle.
I put it slightly differently. What is his responsibility? And what if there was allocating responsibility is I'll let history do that. But the president my friend from Vermont thinks that kinds of things that have to be done. There's during World War II, where Roosevelt came up with a thing that was totally different than he called it the World War II. He had the War Production Board.
Right. He's saying that it was my boss. It was his fault.
We got to stop. We got to not be afraid to make it clear what we're going to do, ladies and gentlemen. We're in a situation where we have to cut the top tax rate for the super wealthy. I mean, he's cut the top tax rate for the super wealthy.
I believe history will look back in this presidency as an aberrant moment in time. But if Donald Trump is reelected, Freudian slip. If Donald Trump is reelected, he will forever and fundamentally alter the character of this nation.
And when you don't have it, you got to get help. And by the way, it's not going to get my point, but anyway, those who've been through that, you can contact my campaign. I'm happy to try to talk to you.
If you want to be part of this campaign, pick up your phones. Pick up your phones now. Send a text to the word United to the number 30330.
Send a text to the word United.
President Biden, just to be clear, would you or would you not rejoin the TPP, yes or no?
I would not rejoin the TPP as it was initially put forward.
But there's a lot more. For example, I think there's more we're going to have to do as we go down the line here. But we're going to, for example, additional checks to families should be conditions should be required. But I think there's a minimum of. Anyway, I won't go into all that. Let me just deal with your specifically.
Union workers, the UAW took incredible cuts in their future. I just can't figure the guy. It's like watching a yo-yo.
I shouldn't have said it that way. It's like watching.
It feels that way. I want to ask.
Well, yesterday you said you accepted Bernie's apology, and now you're attacking him. Why are you doing that? Why wasn't his apology enough, Mr. Vice President? Why attack Sanders? Why?
You're getting nervous, man.
I love that.
I propose, and I'm going to digress slightly. We're in a situation. The president asked me to head up a cancer moonshot.
I did insist. I suggested that we should have people in China at the outset of this event. And when it all started in Luhan province. And in order to avoid those very high numbers, we have to do at least several things. One, we have to depend on what the president's going to do right now. And first of all, he has to wait till the cases before anything happens. Look, the whole idea is he's got to get in place things that were shortages of.
America are women. And 1 out of 3 jobs held
You sleeping?
in our country has been classified as essential. So this is an issue that affects all of us, young and old, every kind.
We have to make sure everyone has access to maintain affordable health insurance coverage. We should be making it easier, not harder, to make sure make sense to, let me put it another way. It makes no sense. It makes no sense.
Question. What law school did you attend, and where did you place in that class? And the other question is, could you quickly, I think
I probably have a much higher IQ than you do, I suspect.
And they'd say to you, take my shotgun. I said, I have 3, I now have 5 because my son died and I have 3 of his. I have 5 shotguns. You know how many tax
What happened to the 6th one?
loopholes there are in the code now?
640
billion.
My son gave me 3, I had 3.
Eliminate 1.
I'm prepared to say that I have a record of over 40 years and that I'm going to beat Joe Biden.
Being a public option, providing for the additional funding that would provide for no hidden bills, et cetera. And I can get it done, I can get it done quickly, and people will be covered. But even I can't do that for another a year between now and November. Or actually January.
Oh.
But to be covered.
All right, guys. Next, we're gonna jump into Alex Jones because I want to see this one of Alex Jones. Seems wild. Seems energy high. We just went into that.
Than Justin Bieber. He circumnavigated with one ship the entire planet. He was killed by wild natives before they got back to Portugal. And when they got back, there was only like 11 people alive of the 200-and-something crew, and the entire ship was rotting down to the waterline. That's destiny. That's will. That's striving. That's being a trailblazer, an explorer, going into space, mathematics, quantum mechanics, the secrets of the universe. It's all there. Life is fiery with its beauty. It's incredible detail. Tuning into it. They want to shut your mind talking about Justin Bieber. You know what? America needs mental health treatment if they don't have a pulse. We're going into tyranny. We're giving $85 billion a month to foreign banks to bail out their fake derivatives that have infected our entire Social Security system. I'm angry about that, man. Listen, it was anger that founded this country. I'm the nicest guy with my children. I'm the nicest guy changing an old lady's tires. But I start thinking about the BS of somebody calling me a fascist because I got a pulse. Paul Revere rode through the night screaming, to arms, to arms. The redcoats are coming. The British are coming. He said, get ready to kill people. George Washington signed death warrants on people and ordered people snipered. I'm not calling for that. The average American is the one that has the problem, who hears somebody red-blooded who has energy and who is angry. I'm in this to win it. I'm risking my life. I live in the real world. I've got a big heart pumping red blood through my veins. And I'm angry. And I'm focused on to protect ourselves from the government. I brought that up. Glenn Beck has tried to hold me back while I talk to people that have worked with him. He has 5 guys watching everything I do, taking my news articles. Listen, 4 or 5 years ago, he wouldn't talk about any of this stuff. Now he takes it but spins it in a neocon way, and I'm sick of Glenn Beck. I'm sick and tired of him. He's a punk. He called me a fascist. This is a guy who made jokes about...
This isn't as good as I thought it was going to be. Let's move on from it. Let's get something better. We got something better in the docket, I'm sure. What was that? 3 days ago?
This is the type of video. Is this?
No, we already know that's going on. We just finished that already. Hold on. Let's see here. Can we get Tucker Carlson?
This is the same.
Have I said that thousands of people, thousands, by their own admission, the admission of the British government, arrested every year for saying words, not threats, words.
I am. I've expressed
So why doesn't someone try to overthrow the government? I don't understand. How can they treat you like slaves if you put up with it?
If they carry on down that road.
Well, they are carrying it on. It's thousands a year, and it's getting more.
Then they will be voted out of office. I guarantee it. Yes. That's how
Is that what Winston Churchill would say? I think Winston Churchill said, even if a strong man tries to take Poland, a country we've got nothing to do with, it's not even close to here, we're going to risk the lives of our citizens to liberate Poland.
Poland is closer to here than your home is to New York.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
So it's all relative. So if
well, it's a tiny little Lego Europe. I get it.
If Maine got attacked, would you expect people in New York to help you?
Poland has nothing to do with it.
If Maine got attacked, would you expect people in New York to help you?
It's the same country.
Okay. But you're actually
kind of a big distinction. My country's quite large.
We were part of Europe, the same continent.
You were not part of. I call bullshit on that.
Really?
In 1940, you were not part of Europe.
You don't think? Well, of course,
you were definitely not part of.
We're on the continent of Europe.
You are not on the continent. You're an island, dude, off the continent, separated by a body of water. Do you know what it's called between you and France? It's called the English Channel.
I know what
you are not part of Europe. That is not true.
Are part
My
of
ancestors lived here. You were not. You were England.
We are part of Europe.
France was considered exotic and crazy. That's where the prostitutes and the cheese eaters lived. It's only the brainwashing of Tony Blair and all these technocrats since who convinced you you're European. You're way better than European. You're an ancient Germanic Celtic people who ruled the world. Do you remember that in your wooden ships? Anyway, but the point is, the point. No, I'm serious.
You do talk some crap sometimes.
No, it's totally real.
Come on.
With the mask from Maine, White Pines. But the point is, your country went to war to preserve human rights in another country you had nothing to do with. But human rights are evaporating in your own country, and it's cool because you have soccer games with foreigners at them and good burrata.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying maybe something about the heroic British spirit has been diminished with time. That's all I'm saying. Your dig at the United States is very revealing.
Why is it revealing?
Because your priorities are very clear.
No.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. And as an American, permit me a moment of outrage. Because I said many civilians have been killed.
Yeah.
And you said, right in the middle of your elaborate defense of the IDF's killing of civilians, including children, you said they do a better job than the United States does. That's my country and my government.
It's
which
my
I
country.
Consider.
What flag am I wearing here?
Well, I'm asking, why is it
What flag
so,
am I wearing?
Well, that's, of course, my flag as well.
And it's my flag. It's who I serve.
So why the dig at the United States in the middle?
It's not a dig at them. No. You've totally misrepresented
What did you mean by that?
I did not take a dig at the U.S. What I'm saying is...
So the IDF is more humane than the U.S.?
You talked a little bit about immigration, and in the past you've talked about how white Australians, Americans, Europeans are being replaced by non-white immigrants in what is often referred to as the Great Replacement Theory. This is the same...
Have I said that whites are being replaced?
Well...
I don't think I said that.
Well, it's been mentioned on your show 4,000 times. And
really, when did I say that?
On your show.
I said whites are being replaced?
You have said that before.
Really?
Yeah.
I would challenge you to cite that, because I'm pretty sure I haven't said that. I said native-born Americans are being replaced, including blacks. We just met, but when our relationship starts with a lie, it makes it tough to be friends. So.
Same theory, or as you say, idea, that has inspired the New York Buffalo shooting where 11 black Americans were killed.
On.
2
you know
white
what I mean?
Americans were killed.
Like,
it's also inspired...
it's not, first of all...
It's inspired one of the worst Australian guns
How do they
of all
get
time
people
to
this
shoot
stupid in the media? I guess it doesn't pay well. Look, I'm sorry. I've lived among people like you for too long, and I don't mean to call you stupid. Maybe you're just pretending to be, but I've never. I'm totally against violence. A sovereign person has the right to defend himself and his family. Period. And that said, I'm totally opposed to harming anyone. Anyone. Have you been calling? Are you concerned about the war in Ukraine?
I think you and I agree. We have both been critical of the Israeli government. I just want to kind of clarify terms a bit here.
Well, I've really been critical of the Israeli government.
I've been plenty critical of the Israeli government. I told you at the beginning that we were against this war.
What do you think of Gaza?
What do I think of Gaza?
Yeah.
I think the war in Gaza, to start with, was a perfectly reasonable response in response to the horrors of October 7th. I think now the places. I mean, I've been there. Have you been to Gaza? I've been to Gaza since the war started.
They would not
it's
let
catastrophic.
me into Gaza. Trust me, very few journalists get into Gaza.
Yeah, no, I went with the IDF. It's the only way that you can go in, but nonetheless, you go in and you see a flattened place. I think it is a disaster for the future of Israel, a disaster for the Palestinian people, a horror, 70,000 people dead.
Why would you describe it first as a disaster for the future of Israel? You've got tens of thousands of civilians murdered, but it's foremost a disaster for the future of Israel. No, it's foremost a disaster for the families of the dead kids.
Absolutely. I made 3 points.
Because everybody sucks up to Israel in this way that suggests they're afraid. And everyone is afraid, and you know that. Everyone's like, the real problem is calling people anti-Semites allows real anti-Semites to flourish. It's like, no, actually, the real problem with calling people anti-Semites who aren't is accusing the innocent of a crime they didn't commit. And the real crime in Gaza is killing people who did nothing wrong. So those are the real problems, I would say. But no one can say it because you have to be like, oh no, but really, October 7th
I don't know what you're talking about, Carlson. We're having a...
Everyone watch?
Of course. Mr. Carlson, the media can be extremely negative, so it's nice to hear uplifting comments about our country.
It's an amazing country.
It is, and I think we forget that in Australia oftentimes, so I appreciate that. You've preempted my question on Putin.
Putin!
I think you did strategically because you knew it's what we'd ask.
Putin! He's so bad!
And I also appreciate that...
Did he make you take the COVID shot?
Take the what?
The COVID shot? No, he didn't. Sorry.
The COVID shot saved probably tens of millions.
Oh, yeah, and definitely. Safe and effective. This is why everyone loves the media.
Probably 100 times more lives than Putin's killed in Ukraine.
It's like a time capsule. It's like...
Oh, shit, he's calling it out.
It's like you're like the last Japanese soldier.
What's your take on whether we should be sending money to Ukraine or not? Were you in favor of that?
Man, they need it.
I mean, honestly, I don't have a good answer. You know, I can make an argument both ways, and half my family is Ukrainian from my grandparents. And so, you know, personally, I think we should help, but I don't have a studied answer for you.
How much money have you sent to Ukraine?
None.
Oh, so what do you mean by we? You're the one whose family's from Ukraine. Like, why don't you send them $1 billion?
Because I'm trying to fix healthcare.
Why don't you fix their healthcare if you're like so deep? If you think we need to help, why don't you start? How about you first? Yeah. I notice that's never like even an option for anybody. It's like, we need to help. That's not what charity is. Forcing other people to help is not charity.
Here's the
it's
good
vanity.
News. The good news is...
Let's say you have one job and two people, and you make the decision, the deciding factor is the race of one of the people. One person is being hurt because he's the wrong race. Why is that okay?
Because he's gotten 350, maybe 400 years of benefit for the right race.
Do you know him? Okay. Or are you just gently... Hold on, do you know that? All you know about him is his race, and yet you're saying that he's benefited.
Exactly.
But you don't know anything about him other than his race. So you're saying that all people of a certain color have something in common, which is kind of the definition of racism, isn't it?
No, that's also the definition of discrimination, because all African American people in the United States have something in common. It's that they were discriminated against.
If it's
you
don't know
60s
anything
or the
about
50s,
the guy,
they have something in common in that they were subject to lynching.
From Belgium yesterday.
He could have.
He has no connection to it, but you think it's okay to deny him something because of his color.
I think that the system itself, in order to fix what is the one original sin of this country,
so we need more racism to fix
racism.
Itself.
I don't consider that racism
it's not
at all.
racism. When you do it, it's not racism.
If I am in
NATO
power,
at all. You shouldn't have NATO at all.
Oh, that's preposterous.
What's the point of NATO?
To keep
the Soviets from invading Western Europe. Oh, well, it's been 35 years since they existed.
To keep peace.
How's that worked? To keep peace. We now have the bloodiest war in 80 years in the middle of Europe because of NATO. So how's this peacekeeping activity?
Or you could argue, as many people do, that actually the reason is because Ukraine wasn't in NATO. Had it been, Putin wouldn't have invaded.
That's a super crazy. This is like an addiction, and I've been through addiction, so I'm not judging at all, but it's like, I feel really shitty. I've got to have a glass of vodka to feel better.
Are you mocking my mental health?
Yes. But I'm also saying that I've lived this, so I know what it feels like. It's the thing that is killing you. It's truly killing you, whether it's NATO or vodka, you become convinced is saving you. So you wake up hungover and you're like, oh, I feel so bad. Give me a screwdriver. And you have a screwdriver, you feel better. And you don't realize that you're starting the cycle again.
Would Putin have invaded Ukraine if it had been a member of NATO? No, he wouldn't have done. Because then America would have been obliged to respond.
Here's what I know. For a fact, Putin said this for 20 years. Ukraine cannot be a member of NATO. They will not accept that any more than we would accept Chinese missiles in Tijuana, or you would accept Sri Lankan missiles in Glasgow. You're just not going to accept that.
NATO is a defensive organization.
How is it defensive?
Because it has never acted proactively, aggressively.
Really? Where were you when the Yugoslavia war was going on? They were bombing the shit out of Christians in Yugoslavia. Do you remember that?
Yes.
That was pretty offensive.
NATO has always operated in a defensive capacity.
Really?
Yes.
That's how they created Kosovo? Defensively?
It was defensive.
Oh, it was?
Yes, it
was. Who was the
was.
aggressor there?
Well, you know, my brother-in-law was literally there.
Just a minute. What you're saying is insane.
It's not insane. NATO has never actually acted unilaterally.
Okay, so the Soviet Union
It's never
collapses.
attacked anybody without being attacked. It's always been defensive.
Okay, who in Yugoslavia attacked NATO?
Look.
Here's the point where you just admit defeat. Bow your head and
I'm
be
not
like,
defeating.
you know what? I bow before superior knowledge. I totally got this wrong. I can't believe I had such a silly idea.
Deeply what Americans think, and if the overwhelming majority are against it, in what sense does it matter? Because what I hear is it matters what they think, but it really doesn't matter what they think because...
No, you take it in, you certainly ingest that.
And then what do you do with it once you ingest it?
Then you make sure
And then
that
what do you do
have...
once you ingest it?
It goes out the other end, obviously.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't, Tucker, but you also have information that the average American may not have. They may not know what the threat is. How many Americans know that Hezbollah is in 12 Western Hemisphere countries?
How many Americans care?
Well, I would hope they would all care. How many Americans know how many people from Iran, from terrorist cells, have come across Joe Biden's open border? How many Americans care about that?
I definitely care about that.
Okay, you care about it.
Why haven't they been rounded up?
But they're trying. But you got all these blue state mayors and governors making it very difficult.
I get it.
But thank God President Trump is trying to get it done.
Look, I'm totally all for that completely.
Okay.
I guess what I'm saying is that most Americans, I've never met an American who thinks, other than like the people who have ideological reasons to pretend they think it, that the imminent threat to America is anything having to do with Iran. The imminent threats to America include like bankruptcy from too much debt, your son ODing on fentanyl, your neighborhood completely changing because unlike Israel, Americans don't have a right to their country. It can just be completely changed by their legislature. New people can show up from foreign countries and not speak your language, and there's nothing you can do about it because you don't have a right because you're not Bibi. Can you feel the resentment? Because it's real. I'm not against Israel. I'm against the total destruction.
You hide that very well.
I'm mad at my lawmakers for not protecting my country with the care they've protected Israel.
The comments you made at Charlie Kirk's funeral, received a big backlash, well beyond.
That's not. I recounted the Christian gospel, and if you think the Christian gospel is anti-Semitic, I can't help you. It's not. I mean, but by the way, the person who wrote the words that I read was Jewish. Almost every character in the entire New Testament is Jewish. I think that racism in all its forms is evil and anti-Christian, including anti-Semitism, because blood guilt is not a Christian concept. Now, it's a concept in other religions, I notice, but it's not a concept in my religion. We reject blood guilt. You are not responsible for what your ancestors did, period. Your DNA does not determine your moral value, period. That's the Christian perspective. That is not the perspective of the Israeli government, which is killing women and children in Gaza because they're all terrorists, because they're all Palestinian. I'm a Christian. I reject that. I will never accept that. That's against my religion. So when I stand up and recount the Christian gospel, people are like, oh, you're Hitler. That says more about you than it does about me.
But do you have no regrets over that?
No regrets about explaining the Christian gospel? No, I don't. I wish I'd done it earlier.
But the implication in that speech was that there is, and you said it earlier today, whatever the death of Charlie Kirk was.
I don't work by implication. I work by statement. I'm not a woman. I don't imply things. I state that.
I'm not a woman. I don't imply things.
The authorities in Jerusalem 2,000 years ago, the truth about them. They were illegitimate. He said that to them. They plotted his murder. And the point I was making, not by implication, but by statement, is that you can't kill the truth. It doesn't matter if you kill the person. The truth lives on because truth is eternal. There are ethno-narcissists who believe every conversation is about them, who are like, oh, that's racist, whatever. No, that's Christianity.
Why would you, as the American economy sits on the cusp of collapse, when the U.S. dollar is worth less than it's ever been worth, when our debt service is more than our defense spending, and when robotics are eliminating entire classes of jobs for working class people, why would you admit illegally tens of millions of people from the poorest countries in the world with no skills? Why would you do that? Is there some crazy plan the Chamber of Commerce, which is for it, by the way, has, where this is going to, I don't know, make labor cheaper? No. There's no plan. That will destroy the country, and that's why they're doing it.
Couple things. And Nick Fuentes has said
a long list of very vile things.
Big time, including attacking my dad, which was the most vile of all, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, I personally have watched videos of him questioning the Holocaust, likening it to baking cookies in the oven, and there's no way you could have gotten to 6 million, seems to be his theory. He seemed to think that we've way overstated the number of Jews killed in the Holocaust. He's ripped on poor Usha Vance in the most offensive terms, which I mean, so what do you say to those people who say, why didn't you raise any of that?
You know, do your own interview the way that you want to do it. You're not my editor. Buzz off. I mean, I don't know. You want to go yell at Nick Fuentes? I'll give you his cell. Call him and go sit and yell at him and feel virtuous or whatever. That's up to you. I got the same thing with Putin. Why aren't you yelling at him? Okay, why? So I can show that I'm a good person? I care about what my wife thinks, my children think, and God thinks, and that's it. I don't need to prove that I'm a good person to you. You may think I'm a terrible person. Okay, I'm just doing my thing.
And I think the real answer is Jeffrey Epstein was working on behalf of intel services, probably not American. And we have every right to ask, on whose behalf was he working? How does a guy go from being a math teacher at the Dalton School in the late 70s with no college degree to having multiple airplanes, a private island, and the largest residential house in Manhattan? Where did all the money come from? And no one has ever gotten to the bottom of that because no one has ever tried. And moreover, it's extremely obvious to anyone who watches that this guy had direct connections to a foreign government. Now, no one's allowed to say that that foreign government is Israel because we have been somehow cowed into thinking that that's naughty. There is nothing wrong with saying that. There is nothing hateful about saying that. There's nothing anti-Semitic about saying that. There's nothing even anti-Israel about saying this. So I think it's better just to say it right out loud. Did this happen? And of course, that question has been asked to the government of Israel, and their answer is, we're not going to tell you. And I think our answer should be, no. As long as we're sending you money, if you were committing crimes on our soil, we have an absolute right to know, did you do this or not? And yet everybody has been so brainwashed into thinking that's somehow an expression of hate or bigotry, when it's not. It's a baseline question that every U.S. citizen has a right to an answer on. What the hell was this? And by the way, if it turns out that it was nothing at all, that somehow Jeffrey Epstein really did earn $165 million giving tax advice to somebody, which is, for the record, a lot more than most people pay their accountants, and that none of this was actually a foreign intel operation, and that there was no blackmail involved, that actually Bill Gates was just hanging on the island because the weather was especially good. No one was videotaped doing anything immoral or illegal, and then that was used against them to get them to obey. If all of that is false, then just tell me how it's false. But don't call me a lunatic.
Islam is a greater threat than the Jews.
Yeah, is the problem with the Muslims of Europe that they're too Muslim or that they're criminals?
Well,
I mean,
that's the same thing.
Yeah, it's not, though, actually. And it's not. You know that the same people who are like, Islam is the problem, are the same people who brought us all these Muslims here, crying anti-Semitism constantly, telling me I can't have free speech rights because there's anti-Semitism, are the same people telling us that we have to hate Muslims because they're Muslim. Well, and how is hating Muslims better than hating Jews? Where did we get all these Muslims here after 9/11? They all came after 9/11.
Yeah.
Who encouraged that, exactly? Who encouraged that? And it's a lot of the same people who are now encouraging us to hate Muslims, actually. Why are there twice as many Christians living in Qatar as there are in Israel, do you think?
Twice as many Christians in Qatar as...
In Qatar. Yeah, the Islamist slave state that we hear so much about. But there are twice as many Christians living there as in Israel. And they can leave if they want. They came freely, but there are twice as many in Qatar. Why do you think that is?
Can they build churches?
Yeah, actually the state gave them the land for their churches. But why is that if what you're saying is true? Because it's not true, actually.
Who have read the Quran, which I've done a couple times. I read through the Quran.
Yeah.
And the Muslim Brotherhood, the people, the jihadis, are not twisting the Quran.
I'm sure. I wouldn't know.
They are being consistent with it. And I see them as a far greater threat to the West than the state of Israel is. And so protecting Israel from Muslims, you could argue, is a roundabout way of protecting.
Why is that? Because Israel bombed Doha because they were doing we were doing a peace negotiation with Hamas. Why is that our job? Why is any of this our job? We've invaded the world and then we've imported the world. Let's just pull back, because this is destroying our country. My wife had the same firearm at home that your bodyguards used to protect you. Is that fair or is that unfair? Why is it unfair?
That's a ridiculous argument.
But why?
It's absolutely ridiculous.
Why is it ridiculous? Because you're more important than me?
No, I don't.
You are trying to.
No, I'm asking a sincere question. Why should you get to protect yourself?
Our cops should not be outgunned.
No,
period.
I'm talking not our cops.
Our military shouldn't be outgunned.
No, your cops,
period.
Capitol Hill Police, have. Why don't we just limit them to the same gun I can have at home?
Why can't we have a real
do that?
conversation about this?
This is a real
nonsense.
conversation. Why is it nonsense? I'm merely saying that you have better protection than I do. And you're saying that my family doesn't deserve to have a certain species of weapon. You get to decide what we can protect ourselves with, but you're not going to in any way take the ability to protect you away from the Capitol Hill Police.
Israel, the political state of Israel has the right to continue existing.
The right? Where does that right come from?
What do you mean? These are like, I'm not being a lawyer about it. I just want to know what you're asking me.
to answer the question.
Because I don't know what you're asking me.
Let's go to the
Wait,
third.
no. I think a lot. You don't want to define your question, and I don't know why. I don't know what you're asking me. I've already said I don't want Israel to be destroyed. I don't want anyone to be killed. And you've said, does Israel have a right to exist? Does it have a? My question is, what right are you talking about? Does Britain have a right to exist? Does the United States have a right to exist?
There was a world order built up after 1945 which suggested that aggression should not be condoned into countries. That countries with borders have the right to continue.
I totally agree with that.
Okay.
Which is why the first thing that Israel did within 2 weeks of this war starting, which is supposedly existential for them, was take southern Lebanon, take someone else's country, as they have done repeatedly. And no one even mentions that. And so I guess I would be opposed to that because I guess I think Lebanon has a right to exist. I thought Gaza had a right to exist. But I noticed that as soon as we started portioning rights, only one country gets them.
No, I did not say that.
So in real life, in military terms, it's not a real fight between the UK and Russia. Why is he saying that? And why would beating Russia be on the even list of things to do if you're British? Because your people have been betrayed by you, and turning their rage eastward towards some guy who's got nothing to do with anything happening in the UK or Germany is the fastest way to keep your population in their narcotic haze.
I totally disagree on that, but it's not important.
How can you disagree that? That's obviously true.
No, it's not. Because
it's not true.
I mean,
what's the threat from Russia?
Well, if you talk to intelligence people, if you talk to the military,
talking to the intelligence. They're not liars.
I mean,
I need to check in with German intelligence more often to find out.
German intelligence is not as good.
Blew up the Nord Stream pipeline. Do they know? You've been talking to intelligence. What do they say about the Nord Stream pipeline?
Well, I think they're pretty sure that the Ukrainians did it.
The Ukrainians did it.
Yeah. But let's now talk about the risk of. Well, wait, Mr. Carlson. Let's talk about this threat.
I do know from working for 20 years, having people call me a racist, and I always say, if I was a racist, I would just admit it, and I would. I'm kind of a sexist. I'm not a racist. Just kidding. But I was like, why are they calling me a racist? You could say, you've gained 20 pounds, or you're obnoxious, or you're kind of nasty. All true. Why are they calling me a racist? I never got that. And then I realized they were calling me a racist so no one could hear on the other side that I actually agree on some issues. And they didn't want anyone to hear that. And the issues specifically that I agree on is I think the tax code is totally immoral. I don't think that people should be paying half the taxes for investing that other people are paying for working. I hate that because it's not twice as virtuous to invest as it is to work for a wage. Sorry, I think that's wrong. Is that a liberal position? I have no idea, but no liberal's ever heard that because, he's a racist, shut up. Or he's divisive, or he fly fishes in Central Park, or who gives a shit? Actually, all of us are being played by the most powerful people in the world. That's my view. And by the way, they're not even politicians. My read from a lot of time, in this world, is that politicians have a lot less power than we imagine they do. And I think people are starting to figure that out. They take orders. Almost all of them take orders. So the question is, who are they taking orders from? And who made those people God? I didn't vote for them. And why is nobody protesting them? It's always some poor ICE agent who's just doing his job, or some cop. The problem is white cops. What? The guys who make $50,000 a year? And the left had, literally nation-stopping violent protests for an entire summer because cops were white. It's I don't think we're going after the real criminals here. And the real criminals are people who are turning single-family homes into rental properties. They are people who opened the borders and made it too crowded for your kids to have a job.
It's true. All right, let's check out some news for the last day or two. Here's Erica Kirk handling the hecklers. So there was a huge protest outside of an Erica Kirk event, and there's tons of death threats and everything because they were doing it in Washington. And they went forward anyway. It's kind of fucking brave as fuck.
Who actually stated
did marry Charlie Kirk, and I am so proud I did because he's the love of my life. Love of my life. Love of my life. On that note, the Lord provides you strength according to the day, and it's renewed every day. Every day. So like that, don't live a lukewarm life. Don't live a lukewarm life.
Wow. Okay. All right, here we go. Let's see what else we got. Oh, there's people outside.
Visiting family, and I heard Erica Koch. I'm from London, and I'm visiting family, and I heard Erica Koch was coming, so I thought it would be fun to go see her talk.
What are your thoughts on the activists, though, trying to protest this, making crazy accusations?
They're crazy. They have nothing better to do. Really embarrassing on their part.
Nice shirt right there. Can I see the back of it?
Got flashpoint on there.
Got the vintage Turning Point shirts going. It's kind of a risk wearing a cap like that out here tonight. Did you see all those activists?
They get to say what they want. Why can't I say what I want?
There were a lot of threats made this evening against Erica and even the people participating this evening, yet you decided to come. How come?
Because I believe what I believe. If they're allowed to believe what they can believe, why can't I?
We're here for Erica Kirk, you know? Like, we're here. We're out here. We're trying to, like, get that message, you feel me? Like, we're here.
You're not concerned for your safety?
No.
Why do you think Washington is so hostile to Christians and people like Erica Kirk?
You know,
Thoughts?
I don't really pay attention to that. I would say they're hostile everywhere, and they're hostile just because it's probably a void in their heart. So that's...
There were threats made this evening against the people attending and against Erica Kirk. They almost canceled the event.
Jesus is more powerful than that.
Oh, yeah. What else we got here?
Very passionate about. And don't try to chase what is kind of the hot passion of the day.
So just go and do it, try, learn from it. You'll fail at some things. That's a learning experience that you need so that you can take that on to the next experience. And don't let people who you may respect and who you believe know what they're talking about, don't let them tell you it can't be done. Because often they will tell you it can't be done, and it's just because they don't have the courage to try it.
I think people that look for great ideas to make money, aren't nearly as successful as those who say, okay, what do I really love to do?
All right. They're all just saying, love what you do. Got it. Real easy to say once you become a billionaire. Here's a new angle of that fire. I don't even know if you guys can catch that. I thought that it was on here, but it's actually right there.
My name is Nick.
Nick Shirley went door knocking.
Ma'am. My name is Nick. Is here? Yeah. Yeah. Here, 3 durable medical equipment companies were launched within just a few months apart here, and that takes money from Medicaid and Medicare services. And so we're wondering, like, where's the equipment at?
Actually, I don't know.
But so do you guys not have any of the equipment here?
No,
No.
I don't have any.
So,
yeah, no equipment. This woman says, I know nothing. Her husband's in charge.
But it's also
So-
like an older lady, so like what's really
how
going
come your
on
husband
here?
has this address registered as the location for 3 different companies that receive money from Medicaid for durable medical equipment?
I don't know. He's coming maybe like half hour. I don't know. Actually,
Do you know what kind of equipment he sells?
No, we don't have. Not at home. We have a job. We need to go to job. I don't have any equipment.
But does he sell durable medical equipment?
I don't know. At home, nothing.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't have anything.
Yeah. Dr. Oz says the industry is ripe for shenanigans.
There's twice as many durable medical suppliers in South Florida than McDonald's because it's easier to open one than a bank account. And the person named in the account is never the person who actually owns the business. But to open 3 in one apartment makes no sense, especially when there's no product there.
Yeah, that is crazy.
At the Yorktown Police Department, one of the finest departments in New York, with our brave local law enforcement officers who put their lives on the line every single day to keep our communities safe. Today, we are here as one community to send a clear message to Governor Hochul and Albany Democrats. Stop tying the hands of our local police. Stop forcing sanctuary policies on our towns and villages, and stop putting politics ahead of public safety. This so-called Local Cops, Local Crimes Act does exactly the opposite of what its name suggests. This bill prevents local law enforcement from cooperating with federal immigration authorities and threatens to withhold state law enforcement funding from departments that refuse to comply. In plain English, Albany is trying to pressure our police departments into becoming sanctuary outposts.
Crazy.
Hefty price tag, and recent estimates show it could cost trillions in extra government spending every year. That means tens of thousands more dollars coming out of taxpayers' wallets. You know, Larry, I think about no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, what a great win that is. And here you go, let's tax people and give them bad health care.
It's phenomenal. This is the socialist platform, but it's free everything, okay, everything. And that's so important to remember. And it also includes the government takeover of corporations, okay? They say in their platform, large corporations.
All right, they're just grifting the socialist game. There's that. What is it?
He's got special privilege. He's got the luxury. He's got the badge. He's a VIP Turning Point member. He loves the Nazis extra.
Why are you guys out here today?
We don't answer questions.
Protesting against your cult.
Oh, is she one of the cults? Oh, she is one of
That's
the cults.
Katie, yeah. She's one of the biggest cult members out there.
The person who would like pedophiles to
Yep.
be.
Well, I know, and she certainly would file.
So why are you guys protesting a widow?
Guzzler.
Oh my God.
Because they preach hate.
Do you denounce the assassination of Charlie Kirk?
That's Guzzler.
Do you denounce the assassination of Charlie Kirk? Do you guys denounce the assassination of Charlie Kirk?
Yeah. Yeah. Charlie Kirk was
How you know that's about it when he was alive? Go inside
Boo!
your cult.
Boo!
Go inside your cult.
Boo! 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 Shame! If I believed in Jesus, I'd feel better. But I don't. Bye-bye now.
You guys are in a cult.
What are you doing? You're so nice looking and normal. What are you doing coming today? You look like you might have some Hispanic ethnicity. Why would you be supporting Turning Point USA in the MAGA-ton? How many of your relatives have they deported or just shot dead in the street? Because they like to do that, you know. You got melanin. You weren't true white. Why are you supporting Charlie Kirk? Oh my God. That's like 2 hours early. Oh my God. You really must love this dead martyr for the MAGA-chuds.
Lost the plot, guys. They have lost the plot.
If he was, but also if he could.
So you guys don't denounce leftist violence?
You denounce your cult?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Cultural Event. Charlie Kirk.
It's crazy. They get shot in the neck and then they're protesting like pedophiles. Ooh, rocket.
And we're in the water. And it's a soft splashdown in the water.
Bro, what the fuck? This is real life? I can't believe that's real life. Elon
That
Musk
is a
does it
first.
again. Elon Musk
That
does it
is the
again.
softest splashdown we have ever had with the Starship there in the Indian Ocean.
The chance of USA.
Bound to be an exciting day for our recovery team.
Into the Indian Ocean.
The Bush administration has done nothing to control the problem that we have. We've had 5 million undocumented workers come over the borders since George Bush took office. It has become an extraordinary problem. And the reason the American people are concerned is because they are seeing their own economic position slip away. And oftentimes, employers are exploiting these undocumented workers. They're not paying the minimum wage. They're not observing worker safety laws. As president, I will make sure that we finally have the kind of border security that we need. That's step number one.
Oh my
Step
God.
number two is to take on employers. Right now, an employer has more of a chance of getting hit by lightning than be prosecuted for hiring an undocumented worker. That has to change. They have to be held accountable. Start shedding some light on the problem, and we can once again be a nation of laws and a nation of immigrants. That's what I intend to do as president of the United States.
What happened, y'all? Oh my God, that was crazy. Last
We're
clip.
gonna sing a song. I'd like to ask everyone to please stand in honor of our ancestors.
My name is Nikki Van Orscott. I'm Chief of Caldwell First Nation, and our community is Place of the Red Cedar, and I come from the Turtle Clan. My spirit name means carries strong mind.
We're gonna sing a song. I'd like to ask everyone to please stand in honor of our ancestors.
Alright, we already saw that. Sorry, guys. Let's get back into it. I want to test something out real quick before I go. I want to see if I just turn on Daddy Trump in some kind of crazy thing, if it'll just like explode again, or if it really does die with the night. Let's do the funniest moments from the debate.
With COVID is he actually thanked President Xi for what he did during COVID. Look at his tweet. Thank you, President Xi, exclamation point, when we know that Xi was responsible for lacking and not giving us transparency about the origins of COVID.
I don't say her because she has no policy. Everything that she believed 3 years ago and 4 years ago is out the window. She's going to my philosophy now. In fact, I was going to send her a MAGA hat. She's gone to my philosophy, but she's a Marxist. Everybody knows she's a Marxist. Her father's a Marxist professor in economics, and he taught her well. But when you look at what she's done to our country, and when you look at these millions and millions of people that are pouring into our country monthly, where it's, I believe, 21 million people, not the 15 that people say, and I think it's a lot higher than the 21. That's bigger than New York State.
Well, as I said, you're going to hear a bunch of lies, and that's not actually a surprising fact. Let's understand how we got here.
I think probably her boss, if you call him a boss, he spends all his time on the beach.
Couples who pray and dream of having a family are being denied IVF treatments.
Vice President Harris,
Excuse me, I have to respond. Another lie. It's another lie. I have been a leader on IVF. Will she allow abortion in the 8th month, 9th month, 7th month?
Come on.
Okay, would you do that? Why don't you ask her that question?
Why don't you answer
That's
the
problem.
question? Would you
Because
veto?
under Roe v.
Answer
Wade,
the question.
you
Would you
could-
veto?
you could-
And I'm going to actually do something really unusual, and I'm going to.
I found a better one, even, guys. Let's go to this one. See how we go.
Trump's first successful presidential campaign. Let's jump right in. Now, Donald intends to set the record straight.
As far as, and I have to say this, he hit my hands. Nobody has ever hit my hands. I've never heard of this one. Look at those hands. Are they small hands? And he referred to my hands. If they're small, something else must be small. I guarantee you there's no problem. I guarantee it. All right. Okay. Moving on.
While the language was coarse, it highlighted the bare-knuckle nature of Trump's campaign rhetoric and willingness to go on the attack against opponents.
And people are worried about my tone. You heard the other night at debate, they asked Ted Cruz, serious question, well, what do you think of waterboarding? Is it okay? And honestly, I thought he'd say absolutely, and he didn't. He said, well, it's, you know, he's concerned about the answer because some people, she just said a terrible thing. You know what she said? Shout it out because I don't want to. Okay, you're not allowed to say, and I never expect to hear that from you again. She said, I never expect to hear that from you again. She said he's a pussy. That's terrible. Terrible.
Technical issues can frustrate any speaker.
We're going to lose that. $505 billion. And by the way, I don't like this mic. Whoever the hell bought this mic system, don't be the son of a bitch to put it in, I'll tell you. These people. No, this mic is terrible. Stupid mic keeps popping. Do you hear that, George? Don't pay him. Don't pay him. You know, I believe in paying. But when somebody does a bad job, like this stupid mic, you shouldn't pay the bastard. Terrible. Terrible. It's true. And you got to be tough with your people because they'll pay. They don't care. They'll pay. So we're not going to pay. I guarantee you I'm not paying for this mic. Every 2 minutes I hear like boom, boom. Anyway, I hope it's okay for you out there, but it really is. Boy, you are real. Look at that. Look up there. It's packed up to the rafters. Man. Holy mackerel. Well, I want to thank Your Eminence. This is really great to be with you again. We love it. Governor Cuomo, our great senators. Hi, Chuck. He used to love me when I was a Democrat, you know.
This clip captures the confrontational dynamic between Trump and the CNN anchor during a contentious interview.
And that they had her on tape, all of a sudden that story changed.
No, that's not true. She says her story has remained exactly the same. She was knocked a little bit off.
Read this to you then?
Yeah, that she was knocked off balance, but she remained standing.
Do you mind if I read you her statement? I mean, give me a break. You know, the problem is everybody dumps people when there's a sign of political incorrectness. I'm just going to read, if I can find it.
She said she was almost knocked off balance. But
she said she was almost knocked off balance. Right, here's what she said. You want to read it or you want me to do it? You're a professional announcer. Why don't you read it? The bottom part. The bottom. Now, that's an exact quote from her prior to seeing the cameras, and now she says, oh, I better change my story, I guess.
This quote says, I was jolted backwards. Someone had grabbed me tightly by the arm and yanked me down. I almost fell to the ground, but was able to maintain my balance nonetheless. I was shaken. Campaign managers aren't supposed to try to forcefully throw reporters to the ground. She did not go down the ground.
No, let me just say, okay, before she knows, folks, look, I'm a loyal person. I'm going to be loyal to the country. I'm going to be loyal to Wisconsin. We have to tell it like it is. It would be so easy for me to terminate this man, ruin his life, ruin his family. He's got 4 beautiful children in New Hampshire, ruin his whole everything, and say you're fired, okay? I fired many people, especially in The Apprentice. But look what she says, Michelle Fields, who, by the way, she's not a baby, okay? In her own words, exactly, I was jolted backwards. Well, she wasn't. I mean, she's standing there. Someone had grabbed me tightly by the arm, and yanked me down. She wasn't yanked down. She was like, she didn't even have any expression. If somebody in this audience gets whacked or gets hurt, including me, you get hit a little bit, you go, wow, there's no emotion. Okay, wait a minute. I almost fell to the ground. I almost fell to the ground. She didn't almost fall to the ground. He got in her way. And by the way, she was grabbing me. Am I supposed to press charges against her? Oh, my arm is hurting. Anderson, my arm is just killing me. It's never been the same.
You've suggested you might.
Excuse me. I didn't suggest.
Well, yeah, you did.
I tweeted. No, I tweeted.
Well,
I asked
a tweet
the
is a suggestion.
Should I press charges?
Are you going to?
Sure. I don't know. Maybe I should, right? Because you know what? She was grabbing me.
Trump poked fun at Marco Rubio's awkward water break moment, showcasing his willingness to mock opponents.
When they put Marco on to refute President Obama's speech, do you remember that catastrophe? And he's like this, and we were, I need water, help me, I need water, help. And this is on live television. This total joke artist. It's Rubio. Let it. Unbelievable.
The exchange between Trump and Jeb Bush generated boos, underscoring the fiery rhetoric between the two during the 2016 Republican primary.
Let me just, he wants to be a tough guy. A lot of times, you'll have, and it doesn't work very well with
How tough is it to take property from an elderly woman?
Let me talk. Quiet.
How tough is it?
A lot of times.
This is the great. I love
That's all of his donors and special interests out there. So that's what it is. That's what. And by the way, let me just tell you, we needed tickets. You can't get them. You know who has the tickets for the? I'm talking about to the television audience. Donors, special interests, the people that are putting up the money. So it is. The RNC told us we have all donors in the audience, and the reason they're not loving me, the reason they're not loving me is I don't want their money. I'm going to do the right thing for the American public. I don't want their money. I don't need.
I think I got the best one. I'm going to pull one more up, okay? One more for today.
Television, but you don't even know what you're talking about. Try getting it out. Go ahead.
Bush, he looked into his soul and said he was a good guy. Come on.
Bush didn't have the IQ. I'm not a big fan of Jeb Bush. The last thing we need is another Bush, okay? Believe me. The last thing we need is another Bush. The last thing we need is another Bush. So you can't have Romney. He choked. We have incompetent leadership. The American people are led by such stupid leaders. Our president is either grossly incompetent, a word that more and more people are using, and I think I was the first to use it. We have a president that doesn't have absolutely, I mean, he's possibly incompetent when it certainly comes to running something. I cannot stand by and watch the gross incompetence of running something like our country's. John McCain, he graduated last in his class at Annapolis. NBC said, oh, we want to talk about inclusion. Inclusion. They got Reverend Al Sharpton. They got Lion Brian Williams. They got all these people.
One pause real quick. And then it's going to do that to me, and then I got to change it.
I won't even mention Bill.
Damn it. It does that. I hate when it does that. Sound. Switch it. Boom.
Bill Cosby, because that was from a long time ago. But they got a lot of bad people. They got Reverend Al Sharpton working for them. Okay? He's actually not a bad guy. He's a con man. You have to understand it. He's a war hero because he was captured. I like people that weren't captured, okay? I hate to tell you. Hillary's emails. She broke the law. She got a subpoena from the United States Congress, and then she didn't give the email. She destroyed them. I mean, everybody's saying they sent the subpoena. Now, they're politicians, so maybe they didn't. We got a chief negotiator goes into a bicycle race. He's 73 years old. He's in a bicycle race. He falls. He breaks his leg. Or if I pick somebody that did it, that knew about negotiation, not somebody that goes into a bicycle race and breaks his leg at 73 years old.
I had the privilege of dealing with Don Barton, which was not a privilege at all.
And the poll just came out, and I'm tied with Jeb Bush. And I said, oh, that's too bad. How can I be tied with this guy? He's terrible. He's terrible. You have this guy, Lindsey Graham, a total lightweight. Hillary Clinton was the worst Secretary of State in the history of our country. The worst. I supported him. He lost. He let us down. But, you know, he lost. So I never liked him as much after that, because I don't like losers. This guy, Lindsey Graham, so he calls me a jackass this morning. And I said to myself, you know, it's amazing. He doesn't seem like a very bright guy. Okay? He actually probably seems to me not as bright, honestly, as Rick Perry. I think Rick Perry probably is smarter than Lindsey Graham, but what do I know? So Hillary Clinton was the worst. Now tell me something. Why would she, why? Just tell me, why would she be a good president? She'd be terrible. Hillary's emails. She broke the law. She got a subpoena from the United States Congress, and then she didn't give the email. She destroyed them. A friend of mine in Paris called, oh, Don, it's too bad about ESPN. You know what they were doing? They rented my golf club for a day. They put up a big deposit. I took their deposit. And then I rented it to somebody else. I made 2 for the price of 1. Your senator, what a stiff, what a stiff. Lindsey Graham. Hillary Clinton's going to be a horrible president. It's horrible. If she even wins her own primary, which I don't know. Charles Krauthammer is a totally overrated person. So Lindsey Graham says to me, please, please, whatever you can do. You know, I'm saying to myself, what's this guy, a beggar? He's like begging me to help him with Fox and Friends. So I say, okay, and I'll mention your name. He said, could you mention my name? I said, yes, I'll mention. And he gave me his number, and I found the card. I wrote the number down. I don't know if it's the right number. Let's try it. 202-228-0292. I don't know. Maybe it's, you know, it's 3-4 years ago, so maybe it's an old number. No, he won't fix anything, but at least he'll talk to you. We have totally incompetent people. Now, some people say they're bad people. I don't think they're that smart to be bad people. I just think, honestly, I mean, a lot of people get angry when I say, I don't think they're bad. I think they're stupid. Then I watch this idiot Lindsey Graham on television today, and he calls me a jackass. He's a jackass.
No, I mean, Ari is somebody that nobody respects, and nobody has any respect for him. I'm surprised you even waste your time quoting him. George Will is another one. He was at Mar-a-Lago years ago. He spoke. I didn't want to listen to him speak, and he's never forgiven me for the fact that I didn't show up, because I find him to be a very boring guy. So what do I want to listen to George Will for? She was the worst Secretary of State in the history of our nation. Why would she be a good president? I see Rick Perry the other day, and he's so, you know, he's doing very poorly in the polls. He put glasses on so people will think he's smart. And it just doesn't work. I've known Rosie for a long time. You know, I've always felt to myself, I've always felt she's a degenerate. Well, Rosie O'Donnell's disgusting. I mean, both inside and out. You take a look at her, she's a slob. She talks like a truck driver. So probably I'll sue her because it would be fun. I'd like to take some money out of her fat ass pockets. Rosie is a loser. If I were running The View, I'd fire Rosie. I mean, I'd look her right in that fat, ugly face of hers. I'd say, Rosie, you're fired. Rosie's a bully. They're all talk, they're no action, and they're totally controlled by their donors and by the lobbyists. When these politicians run, all they do is run for office. That's all they do. They talk, talk, talk. Nothing ever happens. Too much talk, not enough action. Of course, that's politicians. They're all talk, they're no action. Politicians are all talk, no action. They're all talk and no action. And they're all talk and no action. Let me tell you, the people don't trust you, and the people don't trust the media. Right.
For immigrants on the whole
Come on, try getting it out. Try getting it out.
I'll get it out.
I mean, I don't know if you're going to put this on television, but you don't even know what you're talking about. Try getting it out. Go ahead.
Bush, he looked into his soul and said he was a good guy. Come on.
Bush didn't have the IQ. I'm not a big fan of Jeb Bush. The last thing we need is another Bush, okay? Believe me. The last thing we need is another Bush. The last thing we need is another Bush. So you can't have Romney. He choked. We have incompetent leadership. The American people are led by such stupid leaders. Our president is either grossly incompetent, a word that more and more people are using, and I think I was the first to use it. We have a president that doesn't have absolutely, I mean, he's possibly incompetent when it certainly comes to running something. I cannot stand by and watch the gross incompetence of running something like our country's... John McCain, he graduated last in his class at Annapolis. NBC said, oh, we want to talk about inclusion. Inclusion. They got Reverend Al Sharpton. They got Lion Brian Williams. They got all these people. I won't even mention Bill Cosby because that was from a long time ago. But they got a lot of bad people. They got Reverend Al Sharpton working for them. Okay? He's actually not a bad guy. He's a con man. You have to understand it. He's a war hero because he was captured. I like people that weren't captured, okay? I hate to tell you. Hillary's emails. She broke the law. She got a subpoena from the United States Congress, and then she didn't give the email. She destroyed them. I mean, everybody's saying they sent the subpoena. Now, they're politicians, so maybe they didn't. We got a chief negotiator goes into a bicycle race. He's 73 years old. He's in a bicycle race. He falls. He breaks his leg.
or if I pick somebody that did it that knew about negotiation, not somebody that goes into a bicycle race and breaks his leg at 73 years old.
I had the privilege of dealing with Don Barden, which was not a privilege at all.
And the poll just came out, and I'm tied with Jeb Bush. And I said, oh, that's too bad. How can I be tied with this guy? He's terrible. He's terrible. You have this guy, Lindsey Graham, a total lightweight. Hillary Clinton was the worst Secretary of State in the history of our country. The worst.
I supported him. He lost. He let us down. But, you know, he lost. So I never liked him as much after that, because I don't like losers.
This guy, Lindsey Graham, so he calls me a jackass this morning. And I said to myself, you know, it's amazing. He doesn't seem like a very bright guy, okay? He actually probably seems to me not as bright, honestly, as Rick Perry. I think Rick Perry probably is smarter than Lindsey Graham, but what do I know? So Hillary Clinton was the worst. Now tell me something. Why would she, why? Just tell me, why would she be a good president? She'd be terrible. Hillary's emails. She broke the law. She got a subpoena from the United States Congress, and then she didn't give the email. She destroyed them. A friend of mine in Paris called, oh, Don, it's too bad about ESPN. You know what they were doing? They rented my golf club for a day. They put up a big deposit. I took their deposit, and then I rented it to somebody else. I made two for the price of one. Your senator, what a stiff, what a stiff. Lindsey Graham. Hillary Clinton's going to be a horrible president. It's horrible. If she even wins her own primary, which I don't know.
Oh, Charles Krauthammer is a totally overrated person.
So Lindsey Graham says to me, please, please, whatever you can do. You know, I'm saying to myself, what's this guy, a beggar? He's like begging me to help him with Fox and Friends. So I say, okay, and I'll mention your name. He said, could you mention my name? I said, yes, I'll mention. And he gave me his number, and I found the card. I wrote the number down. I don't know if it's the right number. Let's try it. 202-228-0292. I don't know. Maybe it's, you know, it's 3-4 years ago, so maybe it's an old number. No, he won't fix anything, but at least he'll talk to you. We have totally incompetent people. Now, some people say they're bad people. I don't think they're that smart to be bad people. I just think, honestly, I mean, a lot of people get angry when I say, I don't think they're bad. I think they're stupid. Then I watch this idiot Lindsey Graham on television today, and he calls me a jackass. He's a jackass.
No, I mean, Ari is somebody that nobody respects, and nobody has any respect for him. I'm surprised you even waste your time quoting him. George Will is another one. He was at Mar-a-Lago years ago. He spoke. I didn't want to listen to him speak, and he's never forgiven me for the fact that I didn't show up, because I find him to be a very boring guy. So what do I want to listen to George Will for? She was the worst Secretary of State in the history of our nation. Why would she be a good president? I see Rick Perry the other day, and he's so, you know, he's doing very poorly in the polls. He put glasses on so people will think he's smart. And it just doesn't work. I've known Rosie for a long time. You know, I've always felt to myself, I've always felt she's a degenerate. Well, Rosie O'Donnell's disgusting. I mean, both inside and out. You take a look at her, she's a slob. She talks like a truck driver. So probably I'll sue her because it would be fun. I'd like to take some money out of her fat ass pockets. Rosie is a loser. If I were running The View, I'd fire Rosie. I mean, I'd look her right in that fat, ugly face of hers. I'd say, Rosie, you're fired. Rosie's a bully. They're all talk, they're no action, and they're totally controlled by their donors and by the lobbyists. When these politicians run, all they do is run for office. That's all they do. They talk, talk, talk. Nothing ever happens. Too much talk, not enough action. Of course, that's politicians. They're all talk, they're no action.
Politicians are all talk, no action. They're all talk and no action.
And they're all talk and no action. Let me tell you, the people don't trust you, and the people don't trust the media.
Right.
For immigrants on the whole
Come on, try getting it out. Try getting it out.
I'll get it out.
I mean, I don't know if you're going to put this on television, but you don't even know what you're talking about. Try getting it out. Go ahead.
Bush, he looked into his soul and said he was a good guy. Come on.
Bush didn't have the IQ. I'm not a big fan of Jeb Bush. The last thing we need is another Bush, okay? Believe me. The last thing we need is another Bush.
The last thing we need is another Bush. So you can't have Romney. He choked. We have incompetent leadership.
The American people are led by such stupid leaders.
Our president is either grossly incompetent, a word that more and more people are using, and I think I was the first to use it.
We have a president that doesn't have absolutely, I mean, he's possibly incompetent when it certainly comes to running something. I cannot stand by and watch the gross incompetence of running something like our country's. John McCain, he graduated last in his class at Annapolis. NBC said, oh, we want to talk about inclusion. Inclusion. They got Reverend Al Sharpton. They got Lion Brian Williams. They got all these people. I won't even mention Bill Cosby because that was from a long time ago. But they got a lot of bad people. They got Reverend Al Sharpton working for them. Okay? He's actually not a bad guy. He's a con man. You have to understand it. He's a war hero because he was captured. I like people that weren't captured, okay? I hate to tell you. Hillary's emails. She broke the law. She got a subpoena from the United States Congress, and then she didn't give the email. She destroyed them. I mean, everybody's saying they sent the subpoena. Now, they're politicians, so maybe they didn't. We got a chief negotiator goes into a bicycle race. He's 73 years old. He's in a bicycle race. He falls, he breaks his leg. Or if I pick somebody that did it, that knew about negotiation, not somebody that goes into a bicycle race and breaks his leg at 73 years old. I had the privilege of dealing with Don Barton, which was not a privilege at all. And the poll just came out, and I'm tied with Jeb Bush. And I said, oh, that's too bad. How can I be tied with this guy? He's terrible. He's terrible. You have this guy, Lindsey Graham, a total lightweight. Hillary Clinton was the worst Secretary of State in the history of our country. The worst. I supported him. He lost. He let us down. But, you know, he lost. So I never liked him as much after that, because I don't like losers. This guy, Lindsey Graham, so he calls me a jackass this morning. And I said to myself, you know, it's amazing. He doesn't seem like a very bright guy. Okay? He actually probably seems to me not as bright, honestly, as Rick Perry. I think Rick Perry probably is smarter than Lindsey Graham, but what do I know? So Hillary Clinton was the worst. Now tell me something. Why would she, why? Just tell me, why would she be a good president? She'd be terrible. Hillary's emails. She broke the law. She got a subpoena from the United States Congress, and then she didn't give the email. She destroyed them. A friend of mine in Paris called, oh, Don, it's too bad about ESPN. You know what they were doing? They rented my golf club for a day. They put up a big deposit. I took their deposit, and then I rented it to somebody else. I made two for the price of one. Your senator, what a stiff, what a stiff. Lindsey Graham. Hillary Clinton's going to be a horrible president. It's horrible. If she even wins her own primary, which I don't know. Charles Krauthammer is a totally overrated person. So Lindsey Graham says to me, please, please, whatever you can do. You know, I'm saying to myself, what's this guy, a beggar? He's like begging me to help him with Fox and Friends. So I say, okay, and I'll mention your name. He said, could you mention my name? I said, yes, I'll mention. And he gave me his number, and I found the card. I wrote the number down. I don't know if it's the right number. Let's try it. 202-228-0292. I don't know. Maybe it's, you know, it's 3-4 years ago, so maybe it's an old number. No, he won't fix anything, but at least he'll talk to you. We have totally incompetent people. Now, some people say they're bad people. I don't think they're that smart to be bad people. I just think, honestly, I mean, a lot of people get angry when I say, I don't think they're bad. I think they're stupid. Then I watch this idiot Lindsey Graham on television today, and he calls me a jackass. He's a jackass. No, I mean, Ari is somebody that nobody respects, and nobody has any respect for him. I'm surprised you even waste your time quoting him. George Will is another one. He was at Mar-a-Lago years ago. He spoke. I didn't want to listen to him speak, and he's never forgiven me for the fact that I didn't show up, because I find him to be a very boring guy. So what do I want to listen to George Will for? She was the worst Secretary of State in the history of our nation. Why would she be a good president? I see Rick Perry the other day, and he's so, you know, he's doing very poorly in the polls. He put glasses on so people will think he's smart.
And it just doesn't work.
I've known Rosie for a long time. You know, I've always felt she's a degenerate. Well, Rosie O'Donnell's disgusting. I mean, both inside and out. You take a look at her, she's a slob. She talks like a truck driver. So probably I'll sue her because it would be fun. I'd like to take some money out of her fat ass pockets. Rosie is a loser. If I were running The View, I'd fire Rosie. I mean, I'd look her right in that fat, ugly face of hers. I'd say, Rosie, you're fired. Rosie's a bully. They're all talk, they're no action, and they're totally controlled by their donors and by the lobbyists. When these politicians run, all they do is run for office. That's all they do. They talk, talk, talk. Nothing ever happens. Too much talk, not enough action. Of course, that's politicians. They're all talk, they're no action. Politicians are all talk, no action. They're all talk and no action. And they're all talk and no action. Let me tell you, the people don't trust you, and the people don't trust the media.
Right.
For immigrants on the whole
Come on, try getting it out. Try getting it out.
I'll get it out.
I mean, I don't know if you're going to put this on television, but you don't even know what you're talking about. Try getting it out. Go ahead.
Bush, he looked into his soul and said he was a good guy. Come on.
Bush didn't have the IQ. I'm not a big fan of Jeb Bush. The last thing we need is another Bush, okay? Believe me. The last thing we need is another Bush. The last thing we need is another Bush. So you can't have Romney. He choked. We have incompetent leadership. The American people are led by such stupid leaders. Our president is either grossly incompetent, a word that more and more people are using, and I think I was the first to use it. We have a president that doesn't have he's possibly incompetent when it certainly comes to running something. I cannot stand by and watch the gross incompetence of running something like our country's... John McCain, he graduated last in his class at Annapolis. NBC said, oh, we want to talk about inclusion. Inclusion. They got Reverend Al Sharpton. They got Lion Brian Williams. They got all these people. I won't even mention Bill Cosby because that was from a long time ago. But they got a lot of bad people. They got Reverend Al Sharpton working for them. Okay? He's actually not a bad guy. He's a con man. You have to understand it. He's a war hero because he was captured. I like people that weren't captured, okay? I hate to tell you. Hillary's emails. She broke the law. She got a subpoena from the United States Congress, and then she didn't give the email. She destroyed them. I mean, everybody's saying they sent the subpoena. Now, they're politicians, so maybe they didn't. We got a chief negotiator goes into a bicycle race. He's 73 years old. He's in a bicycle race. He falls, he breaks his leg. Or if I pick somebody that did it, that knew about negotiation, not somebody that goes into a bicycle race and breaks his leg at 73 years old. I had the privilege of dealing with Don Barden, which was not a privilege at all. And the poll just came out, and I'm tied with Jeb Bush. And I said, oh, that's too bad. How can I be tied with this guy? He's terrible. He's terrible. You have this guy, Lindsey Graham, a total lightweight. Hillary Clinton was the worst Secretary of State in the history of our country. The worst. I supported him. He lost. He let us down. But, you know, he lost. So I never liked him as much after that, because I don't like losers. This guy, Lindsey Graham, so he calls me a jackass this morning. And I said to myself, you know, it's amazing. He doesn't seem like a very bright guy. Okay? He actually probably seems to me not as bright, honestly, as Rick Perry. I think Rick Perry probably is smarter than Lindsey Graham, but what do I know? So Hillary Clinton was the worst. Now tell me something. Why? Just tell me, why would she be a good president? She'd be terrible. Hillary's emails. She broke the law. She got a subpoena from the United States Congress, and then she didn't give the email. She destroyed them. A friend of mine in Paris called, oh, Don, it's too bad about ESPN. You know what they were doing? People. They rented my golf club for a day.
Have a good night, guys. I will see you tomorrow. Peace.